for coming through. Thanks for Sharif and Adair for that opening show right there. That was fantastic. Thanks Andre, Fabian for working that board, man. That calculating the top tickers has been a big one. We want to appreciate that. Ramin as well for running all of our socials. And for the guys in the back, man, working obviously so hard and not stopping. So we appreciate that. We're going to get this all done, man. And then when it's done, we hope to impress every single one of you. Thank you so much for watching us here at Trader TV Live. But you're not going anywhere. What? We're going right now. Joe, let me throw over to you guys. Take it easy over there, my guy. It's going over to Joe and Sharif. It's the midday. Are you ready, Sharif? All right, here we go. It's midday time. It's them. Ciao till 2 p.m.
Guys. The New World Order, baby. Come on, man.
And NWO. Boom! Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That your boy, Joey That is your boy, Joey Options, and I'm Sharif. And I don't know what is taking so long. YouTube, let's go. What's your play on Tesla after the recent volatility? Buy. No, I'm not buying Tesla. What's going on, everybody? Where are my people at? Brandon, we got Juan Padilla. We got the names back. It's no longer functified. Other Zing, Dingleberg, Ashraf. We got Sundar Pichai. What's going on over there? Jacques, Mary S. Lyman, Valerie, Petrov. Shout out to Bora. Evan, trading today for Dang. Tomorrow, shout out to A-Hole. Pelosi's Stock Insider, one of my favorite names in the chat. Kobe the Kid. Levi Corbett, we got May Reyes, Kirk D, we got P.O. Parole officer? I thought we weren't meeting till next week. DJ 2 a.m. Andrew Chow, Kirk D, Adrian G Talk 5150. And if you don't have that number right, you got it wrong, baby. Shout out to Brown Lightning and Fiddlebeck. Dinkelberg, Yummy Thai Foods and Aliop. Who else we got, man? West Y'all. I haven't seen you in a hot minute. Shout out to you, Donkey Trader, Anna Trader. Who else we got? Life's Too Short to Miss. Bang. We got Liddy Bands. His bands are so, lit. It's fantastic over there. Who else, man? Sports and Stonks. Shout out to Tsunami Trader, Matthew Santa Cruz, Ron John. Why not? We got Go Bills. We got Jesse Ramirez, Happy Zombie.
Apple.
One more, Joseph. We got a dollar bill, yo, a dollar bill. Shout out to the Brack IPs. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning, good morning. Guys, let's talk a little, let's get right into this. Never mind what I got going on with Google here, that's fine. But Apple, I want to talk about Apple, and I want to get involved in this name here. And I'm going to pull up my TA from yesterday, and I was getting prepared. But that's the issue, right? You can come up with all these ideas, but if you don't execute accordingly, then it all means essentially nothing. We break this trend line we were talking about yesterday. We were talking about Apple. It only needs a little spark, something positive, some form of tailwind, and then sure enough, we could get that to break out here. I'm going to log in right now.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you already know, right?
Yeah. Do we have anything? Am I sending it to anybody? We're going to
He would have told me. I think he would have told me.
All right, we're sending it to Adair, but we're going to talk more Apple here.
I don't think. Are we sending it to Adair?
I got it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Are you signing?
Yeah, because that's how he told me to tell you, okay, smarty pants.
All right. There you go, sir.
Yeah, you're good.
Hi, guys. I just want to let you guys know that near the end of the main show, I believe during when Jeff Mendel was talking, we got some more comments from Donald Trump about Elon Musk. So people were asking, he's been criticizing the big, beautiful bill. Do you think he can sway the vote? And Donald Trump said that he's not at all concerned with Elon Musk's criticism because he'll just get dosed to look at Elon Musk. And if he does that, they'll save a fortune. The stock actually, if anything, reacted positively to this for whatever reason. Tesla, nice little bounce here off the lows, about a $3 bounce off the lows for TSLA, even as CEO Elon Musk could potentially face an investigation from the group that he used to run. Back to you.
Fake news.
Fake news. You are fake news.
All right.
Hold on. Yeah, before I send it back to you there, Sharif. 220, I think it's going to be in the works of Apple. I'm not saying necessarily this week, but at some point, because we're just going by what the options market is telling us, right? We're not making any other thing other than we're breaking out. The options market says that we have the highest level of open interest at 220. Well, Joe, why are you saying that we're going to hit possibly 220 in the near term?
Yeah,
this is let's zoom in. There's going to be even more telling because I'm on like a far expiration because I was looking for contracts myself. Okay, second that. So 215 may be in the works. And then 220 is another concentration of open interest. So I eat that. Sorry, I was on the wrong expiration cycle. 210, there is some overhead. Let's see how we react. 44,000 open contracts. But if we sit on the back side of this and traders start really covering, that's when you can get that gamma squeeze. Okay, so keep in mind, if we reject 210, then that's going to be this call wall right here. And then on NVDA, why did we reject, 160 so aggressively? Well, look at the size, 139,000 open contracts. We did the exact same thing last week, and what is NVDA doing this week? Too much supply at 160. The demand isn't there. No one wants to own NVDA this week higher than $160, and now we're trading at 153. All right, so what do we want to do? Come next week, we want to see where that 160 concentration is now lying. Is it going to start to cool off, or is it going to stay where it is, lower on strike prices or higher on the strike price, or raise on the strike price? All right. If it raises, guess what? Now we can have some more room. What's the term I'm looking for? Path of least resistance. And then, sure enough, if we do head higher, then you can correlate that with what's going on with the options chain. So that's what we have for NVDA and AAPL, Sharif.
All right, your boy Joey already dropping hot fire to start the show right there, hence the bangs. All right, let's talk about what I'm involved in right now. Yeah, and by the way, guys, as you see there on the screen, we're obviously in the midst of the construction for Studio 8. We got 3 individuals today. Today's a holiday, a national holiday. Yet we got 3 people working. We're working overtime, obviously, for the show, bro. It's just that's the way it is. That's the only reason we're doing it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you guys for coming in, man. Shout out to, I don't know his name. I found out the other guy's name. Russell. Super easy, like Russell.
Oh my days, Sharif.
What's going on, Joseph?
Look at Google tanking right here. Yeah. Here, screen please. We got, oh my days. Let's go Google. Not good news. I'm sure Sharif and I are going to touch on this subject a lot throughout the session, but what an absolute tanking move here. Wow. Do we ever wish we had significantly more, as the narrative usually goes when you have a big time move like that? But here we are. We're short Google off of this specific signal right here. Gorev, check this one out.
Get it, Gorev.
Boom. Inverted hammer right above the volume weighted average price with a bunch of selling pressure within this zone here. You come back, you have the inability to crack this downtrend line, and you're holding some of these levels and areas relatively well. What is that? The pre-market low. What do we do right at the pre-market low, Sharif?
What?
We add to the position.
Okay.
All right, so there it is. We get that initial move down. We're holding on to the original, but then we went 3 times larger than what we did on this entry right here on Google, and now we're getting that move to the south side. We're short from 175.03, my guy.
All right, man. Sounds good, Joseph. Good look there. All right, so the one I'm involved in right now is DBI. This is not up that much, nor has it done that much volume, but it's got a good looking chart pattern, and initially it has had support at the volume weighted average price. We're long 5s. I'm taking prints at every penny, so we'll see how this one wants to end up running, whether or not it retests that high of the day at around 273. This one's not the most exciting one, but I got to tell you, the small cap gappers, I don't want to say that they're light on the day. Wolf just showed up here to my, that's why, because it's above 85 pennies. Yeah, I'm looking at the scanner. I'm not really too happy with the small cap gappers on the day. I'll show you what I've got over here. So I just worked into BLMN as well. So let me just set my stops and my orders for this one before I go into the side chart. So this one's gonna have to hold 60 pennies because it's been holding this consolidation area for a hot minute. So let's go ahead and throw out my stop just below 60 pennies, and true to form, we'll give it room. And then we're at 69, so we gotta basically take basically at every penny. So we'll set up at 77s as well, see what we get there. So let's bring in the side chart and have a look at what I'm looking at right now. So VOR, I almost punched into this one, not a bad one. This is a holdover from yesterday. It's a multi-day runner. It's at the 10 EMA, but it's been putting in lower highs now for about 20 minutes and lower lows at a key technical area. So I'm keeping my eye on that. RCT is gonna lose its spot on the side chart anytime now. CTOR above the volume weighted average price. I'm looking at picking this up likely at 88. That's where VWAP is. It's already below the 10 EMA. So I don't really know how to feel about this one. My last line in the sand for CTOR will be VWAP. Yep, IREN as well. This one was at the volume weighted average price. It's losing it, so it's been putting in lower lows and lower highs since 10:20. So that's 50 minutes deep now of a sell-off with no support to be had here at VWAP as it's below it. BLMN, that's the one I'm involved in right now. I perceive this one to be bull flagging with an upward tilt. It's obviously got higher lows, not necessarily though higher highs. So that has me optimistic that we could get something aggressively through that 9 3/4. That is essentially the high of the day, 976 on the day. And IREN I already spoke about. OSG likely will lose its spot on the side chart anytime now as it's lost the volume weighted average price decisively, might I add, going all the way down to about 980. VWAP's at around 1015, 1020. Last but not least over here, NAIL. NAIL, this is a buy. Look at this, Joseph. Buy program galore. You got to love this. But you know what happens to the buy program is around 11, 12. They get shut off, Joseph. Pap was right. So we'll see how this one does. It's also quite expensive, about 59 bucks, 60 bucks, give or take. It's up a respectable 12 and 2/3, excuse me, percent on the day. The last time this one even glanced, even looked the way of the 10 exponential moving average was right at 935, and it's getting extended away from it now. Now, sometimes that usually means a bit of a sell-off is coming, and sometimes it just doesn't, okay? The buy programs don't get shut off, and you end up making higher highs and higher lows throughout, and you feel stupid for not having punched in somewhere along the line, but you gotta respect the rules, otherwise, you know, what is the point of doing this whole thing? Anyway, DBI, we're taking a whole bunch of prints now as this one moves into 69. Next one, Adara, we're waiting at 70. What do you got?
Yeah, right. We have Netflix on watch. I don't have any news on this, but I do want to mention it because, I mean, the whole market's dropping. Netflix went from near all-time highs around this 1342 level. Currently, we're trading below 1300, so NFLX extremely weak. Sharif, you just talked about buy programs. NFLX maybe looks like a bit of a sell program. I also have some news for you guys on META. Meta on watch. The company is introducing centralized marketing campaigns, expanded AI support, and calling options for businesses using WhatsApp. So more WhatsApp developments here for META. Back to you.
Show them what you're looking at.
Come
there,
on,
man.
pull up the screen.
Show them what you're looking at, Joseph.
I don't know if this is real
Why
or not.
are they teaching these things to fight
man.
Joe? Like, have we not watched Terminator? Have we not watched iRobot? How many movies does Hollywood have to make for us to get?
Listen. Watch the creator. I think the creator, Sharif, you love AI, you love the humanoid robots. You have to watch the creator. It's such
Tell me a little bit about it.
So essentially, what happens is a nuclear bomb goes off in LA. They have a bunch of humanoids, right? They've really adapted, so like robots live amongst humans.
Okay,
Short story,
fair.
all right?
All right.
They think that a droid set off this nuke that destroyed things. So anyways,
LA.
LA.
Okay.
So anyways, now they have a machine that just goes around and destroying populations of the robots. But really, it was humans that set off the nuclear bomb.
They blamed it on the robots.
Yeah, but there's this little girl that they created her, and she's stronger than all the other robots, and she's like the chosen one, like Anakin Skywalker, to destroy the machine that is just like obliterating all these things. Yeah, and it's such a good movie. It's like legitimately a good movie. So it's like, at the end of the day,
Shades of Fifth Element a little bit, like where that, like, you know, she's super strong and smart, like that redheaded one.
I never seen that.
Okay, well, yeah, Bruce.
No, I'm talking about the creator. I'm talking about the creator, Fabian. I think that's just such a phenomenal movie. Like, it's a legitimately good movie. Don't spoil it. Well, it's already too late now. And I think you should, if you're gonna watch anything, I know I gave you a couple good suggestions with Sacha Baron.
Cohen, yeah. Those were really good, really good. They weren't cringe at all.
No.
I'm not even gonna mention which one you talked about there.
What does it rhyme with?
I'm not gonna say.
It rhymes with Juno. And there you go.
Why do you do that? Why do you do that, bro? You're gonna get me in trouble.
But no, it's a good movie, I think, and it should be watched for sure.
Okay, all right, I respect that. It's just, you know.
Yeah, I understand where you're getting at, but that's why we get pals and stuff like that, right? But here we are. This is what we got cooking up on Google, guys. I only have one out left here. Really nice short to the downside. We were talking about that the Anthropic and the OpenAI deal possibly with Google. Is that going to, I mean, with Apple, is that going to potentially hurt Google? And we're seeing it today, down 1.5% there, Sharif.
That piece of crap Apple is actually finally getting a bid. I got to tell you the truth, though. You know, I got all the excitement. It's very nice. There's some details that were left out. The details that were left out, Joseph, was this is more of a backup plan for Apple. Yeah, the OpenAI Anthropic thing is if they can't get their in order in-house. Yeah. Because they've been trying to make this in-house LLM for a couple of years. Sure. Obviously, not without success. Otherwise, we'd be seeing it, right? Yep. So we'll have to wait and see whether they can get their stuff together in-house. And if they can't, who do they end up relying on? Who do you guys think that they should go with? Do they go with Claude, Anthropic's large language model, or do they weasel over to the kind of the safer bet, Joseph, which is the ChatGPT, the one that I use? I know you have your preferences there for with Copilot. Sure. I don't think Copilot's being discussed, but you know that's kind of OpenAI adjacent, if we could kind of use that idea.
I mean, 2 solid points there.
Go for
Mitch said it this morning as well, to all the cash that they have on the sideline. And then Katina Man also added the point that they have essentially haven't spent too much either on AI spend. So it's like, okay, we really want to play catch up now. We have all this cash that I was mentioning. When you have companies that have $100 billion of free cash flow, it's only a matter of time until you get a couple positive tailwinds. And then sure enough, later in the day, we get that catalyst that broke through the ranges. And I said,
funny enough, you said it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking,
you were talking more from a buyout perspective, but it's nonetheless, it's the same idea.
Exactly, and you and I were also talking about Apple's biggest acquisition was the Beats by Dre back in whatever year it was. I think it was the teens for $3 billion.
Yes, sir.
Right. So.
Yes, sir. All right, we're doing it frickin' live right now on my very good friend here, DBI. We're gonna layer orders. That's the way it is. So we're taking prints at every penny on my friend DBI, which was a very obvious volume weighted average price hold, whether or not it continues to hold, and then gives me all the prints that my heart desires. Boom, we just take another one right there. We'll have to wait and see. Here we go, right up to 72s. That's my next level. I'm waiting at 72s, and then 73s is the high of the day. So be on the lookout here for a break above HOD. Shut up, woman. And then we'll keep an eye out on the high of the day break and whether Siri's interrupting me, Obi. What am I supposed to do? So quick here. I got stopped out of a newer position, VOR. I tried to take the volume weighted average price retracement, got in at 84, got stopped out at 79. So we'll take a 5-penny hit quick as you like right now on VOR. That'll be the first loser on the day. We'll look to do a little bit better. So keeping an eye on 72 here on DBI. Simultaneously, we are taking prints here on BLMN. This one I'm in at 69er, and now up to 77 we go. That is where I'm waiting. So it's got to cross 77 for me to get the print. Above that, we're going to be waiting at 80s. So let's pack our patience here on DBI and BLMN, see if we can kind of get that big move up to upside Ike Turner and Siri. I don't even know what that means, but it doesn't seem like it's a good thing. So I don't know how I feel about that. But anyway, BLMN looking good here. Very respectful of the 10 EMA. In addition to respecting the moving averages, I perceive this to be putting in higher lows. I feel like it might just be a matter of time until double sevens gets taken out. 977, the high of the day on that bad boy. And then we're still waiting for that print on DBI Joseph at 72s as it zigs and zags. Nail, though, I got a guy. Oh, so before I get to nail, you guys have been asking me to cover BMNR, I think it is. The one from yesterday. Allow me a moment over here. I believe that is the ticker. I'm just trying to find it on my scanner, and it seems to have disappeared. BMNR, yeah. That's a holdover from yesterday, and that has a good catalyst for it. I believe this is the one that was hoarding ETH. Where are we today on BMNR? We're up 85%. Yeah, okay. So we're taking out levels. Super expensive, obviously. You know, I always say don't hold these ones overnight because, you know, usually they're around for a good time, not a long time. But there's always exceptions to the rule, and this is the one, Ob. Look at this thing. It's going to take out 64, Ob. Look at that beautiful 48 hold. You did get wicked in and wicked out, but that was a very clear area where there were buyers at $48. Look at BMNR. It's going to take 100%. The buying on this one is very aggressive, but the spread is even more prohibitive. It's like 30, 40 pennies. Yeah, get it, Adara. Adara is pumping on the spread. So keep your eye on this one. I'm not going to be trading BMNR. It's just too expensive and too hard to manage risk. We're continuing to take prints on BLMN, and we're continuing to take Prince Joseph on DBI. So happy with how this is going.
Nice, brother. Good looks there, guys. So there it is. We only have one more out left. I mentioned this earlier. We did take a stab on IBIT, but relatively small size here. Even though I did add into this position, and I was gonna take a stab, and I was gonna take a second entry, but I'm like, you know what? No, I'm gonna be patient and wait for this Google short to come in. I think IBIT's gonna be, our Bitcoin itself is gonna be in a little bit of trouble in the near term. From what I'm seeing from a daily price action, we're really struggling at 108. And we can't seem to breach it on multiple attempts, and we're just continuously forming those lower highs. But this was the short. If I took the second entry, obviously we would have been cooking up a storm here. But I had more conviction within the Google trade. There, yeah, exactly. I had more conviction within the Google trade, so I just wanted to focus on that more. Even though it was a squeeze here, you get that squeeze type PA, and then you make that big time move down. So. Thesis right, timing just a little bit off, and that's really important when you're trading. So things may take multiple attempts, but Los Polios way to get out on 210 on Apple. We talked about that call wall there as well too, guys. Coming right into play, Sharif. The 160 call wall on NVDA coming into play, and we want to continuously use these levels. And Gorv, that's what I was referring to. When I see size like that, yeah, you can get those reversion type plays back into the volume weighted average price, but in my opinion, the sellers are dominating the session right now, right? I think that's kind of hard to debate, with the exception of maybe UNH. And check the aftermarket show with Darren and I when I mentioned UNH was going to be a solid play and Apple a continuation, because UNH's daily price action is like, okay, like, it's only a matter of time until I think it broke out there, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you've seen the chart today. It's been on a move here.
Can we see the daily?
Yeah,
so we can get a quick gander of where we're at?
Exactly. And then you can see that we're holding this base at 290 relatively well and slowly starting to curl over, and then now you're kind of getting that break there. And I mentioned the next step is heading into this gap, and then look for about a 60 to 70% fill of this gap, and then that's a solid trade. Right.
Absolutely agree with you. My buddy's probably going to be super happy. I told you
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, hopefully he was grabbing some more down here or are doing something, some cash secured puts. Michael Noss and I were talking about those last night as well too. And just the benefit of not chasing this market all the way up here, but having the ability to create some passive income and then waiting for those stocks and the underlying assets to come into the price where you actually want to own. Well, it doesn't hit your strike price, those close out of the money. Well, congratulations, you still made a little bit of cash on the side, and then you just roll that contract over until eventually you do get that fill that you're looking for. And that's the beauty of cash secured puts. There's you can make some good money on it, and then you own the stock at the exact price that you want to.
Well said, Joseph. Yeah, who's that in this? Todd Kowal. Solar stocks are moving. Aren't you right, brother? Holy cow. Some of them are actually really moving here. You have a lot of the penny stock solar names that are going gung-ho. I'm just going to show this quickly over here, Assassino, if I can. This is my solar watch list right there. So you have Nova, which is now an 8 penny name, up 33%. Sun Q, that's up 200%. But you have some of the more common names like your Run, CSIQ, which is Canadian Solar, FSLR, Enphase up 4%, Sedge up 4.16, TAN. I know Adara likes that one because it's spready. All right, so we're going to keep tabs on that one. We'll keep tabs on solar, man. I think the reason why it's up, correct me if I'm wrong, chat, you guys will know a little bit better here, is that some of the senators are trying to eke out some exceptions for these solar stocks to actually get some of these government subsidies if they meet some sort of deadline, something like that. I heard something about it this morning, ever so briefly. Didn't get the full story. But again, you know, I don't believe in this solar story, at least not for the moment. Long term, I think that the administration, you know, has kind of made their bet. The current administration has made their bet, and if things change, I'll change my tune. But I don't think that that will be the case, at least not for the moment. And if that's the case, that's a big ass headwind that you've got to keep dealing with here. Excuse my French there for a second. All right, DBI, Joseph, we're doing it freaking live. All right, higher highs, higher lows. We're taking prints at every level. Let's go ahead and weasel out out at 75, and then by extension of that, we'll weasel out at 77. It is the high of the day right now, DBI 275 HOD. Keep your eye out on that one. I'm continuing to take prints as well on BLMN. This was not as explosive, showing me 82s right now. I'm actually waiting at 83. So another penny here, and hopefully we'll take another beak wetter out. Only 2 positions on for me right now, Joseph, because I really don't like the look of any other ones. Obviously, I like BMNR, but just too expensive and too hard to manage.
Yeah, fair enough there, guys. And I propose that the Trader TV live team, we just order a bunch of Uber Eats, and then we invoice it to Katina Man. So, Ramin, hop right on the Uber Eats. Let us know what we're getting, and then we'll figure it from there. Yeah.
Ram.
Ram.
Can we get some wings? Maybe like lemon pepper wings? You don't like wings? You don't control that.
All we got to do is order it. All we got to do is order it and then invoice it.
Yeah. Can you pay for it and invoice it on your account, Ram?
That's what we
like that, eh? That's why we're all putting it on her. See, your problem is you're sitting in front of us now. You've opened this up to yourself, Ram. Don't put on those headphones either. Those aren't going to protect you.
At all. Yeah, a big time squeeze.
We're bullying Ram.
That's all right. We'll get the wings here coming soon. I know you want the zesty lemon peppers there.
Lemon pepper is so sick. Why'd you say zesty like that, huh? Why were you saying zesty like that, Joseph?
Like that?
What a guy, bro.
Yeah, I mean, we have fun here as always.
Yes, sir.
Blue cheese dip, absolutely. But a big time move back into Google here, into VWAP. Are we going to hold this down trend line? If that's going to be the case, then there can be an add opportunity. Again, I only have about 10%. It's my last out here. And if it comes back to my break even, I'm just gonna hop out of that there. So
man.
Yeah, exactly. So if we crack this here, then that trade might be done. So yeah, we'll be patient to see what's going on. If Google wants to squeeze, this market can most definitely rebound. But go Gorev go as NVDA is starting to climb back as well too. I hope you get VWAP just like Google squeezed all the way back to VWAP. But a relatively nice trade. We won't complain. We did get it out right at the lows, so that's a big time move.
It's a big time trade.
Yeah, if we get another opportunity to short it down here, Sharif, then I think we're going to be looking to.
That's a big boy trade right there, man. That's a big boy trade, and the ad and the beak wetters. That's fantastic look there, Joseph. Good job, bro.
Thank you.
Fantastic look there. All right, guys, we're continuing up here on BLMN. It's a good look. The next beak wetter we're waiting at 86s. It's already showing me 86s, but it's got a cross for the print. But look at DBI go. Up and to the right, next print 77s. It's already showing me 77s. We just need it to cross a little bit more over here, and then we'll get the print. We've got shares on, so we'll continue to take prints to the high side. Very happy with how these trades have been executed, but obviously looking to do a little bit better. What is the next trade, right? So it can't be just DBI and BLMN for the rest of the show. We got to keep an eye out on these ones. What happened to my, BLMN? We're all out of shares on this one, Joseph? Bald. Yeah, that's the word, bald. All right, we're not going to say the other one there that you guys thought I was going to say. All right, so I'm going to keep my eye on that. So a couple of good trades so far. Really, the best looking one, though, is NAIL that I have not been into because it's just too extended and a little too pricey at the moment. 15%. What is the headline on this? I need to know. To fulfill my own curiosity here, Adara. Finding out what the hell. Well, I don't even see anything. Adara, do you have anything on nail? Because I don't see a thing.
Semis, I'm not seeing anything on semis. In terms of nail, I know Mitch Hoke mentioned this morning, so shout out to Trade the Pool.
KBI,
nail,
maybe?
NAIL.
AB?
Is it NAIL? Is the
yeah,
ticker?
it is. I'm just looking at some of the home builders.
Yeah. So that's a little bit unclear as to why that's up either, because construction spending was actually down here in a month over month. It was a little bit lower than we were expecting. So unclear. I'm going to have to look more into this nail, but believe me, we'll nail down the reason this is moving, because that's what we do here at Trader TV Live.
I appreciate that, Adair. Thank you. Yeah, I'm keeping there's KB Homes. There's a bunch of others that I was just trying to look at. So it's an ETF, guys. It's a triple levered ETF for the Dow Jones U.S. Selectum Home Construction Index. So the fund creates long positions by investing in at least 80% of its assets in the securities that comprise the index and financial instruments that provide leveraged and unleveraged exposure to the index. Okay, fine. Fine by me on that. We'll keep an eye out, and if we get any other headlines, and if you guys have any headlines for us that explains this whole thing, go ahead.
I think I found something on Nail. Right now it is just speculation I'm seeing on X. But so if you guys didn't know, IWM is up today as well. I actually mentioned this earlier. And it looks like both of these being up are being attributed to the fact that people are expecting we might get some cuts. They're both interest rate sensitive sectors. So I'm seeing that being attributed potentially to this move. Again, if I find any like concrete news, I'll let you guys know. But the rate connection, especially with what IWM is doing, I'll pull that up for you guys right now, is certainly interesting. IWM here really strong today, guys. Back to you.
Absolute sense. Think about that, because you got two rate angles to the home builders, Joseph. You got for the financing. So if you're a buyer and you want to go out to get a loan, obviously lower rates are better for you and more stimulative. But also, let's not forget why we're not building anything in this country between 27 to from basically 2027 and 2028. But very few home starts in this country. How come? Because of the prohibitively high rates that these home builders got to go and borrow from, as well as some of the tariff stuff specific to us. But that's obviously not much of an issue for the United States, because they're not the ones that have to deal with that. But yeah, so it's a kind of a double prong or double-edged sword there that helps with these home builders. So keep an eye on that.
I mean, yeah, and I was doing a little bit of reading as well too, and there's too many of these micro units, and not enough of these single family units. So there's an abundance. There's too much supply of these 400 square foot condos that nobody wants with no view and everything.
Absolutely. Like that. And I was telling you off camera. Remember, I was telling you. I don't want to say exactly where it is, but near my place. I was telling you off the highway and off the subway. So you got the double edge right there. You got that. 2 bed, 2 bath, small. 600-700 square feet. South of $500,000.
Wow.
That was not possible.
That was never the case.
That was not possible during the pandemic, maybe even before, Joseph. So prices dropping a little bit for those shoebox condos.
Because again, I just mentioned there's not enough a demand for those. People are sick of them. They want a view. We don't want shoebox stuff. And I'm pretty sure the province minimum is around 350 square feet.
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah, the province minimum is 350
Interesting.
feet. But nobody wants those. So yeah, we have an abundance of kind of these really small units in the city. And you know, if you've ever been to Toronto, we have a lot of condos, and people don't want to buy those 500 square foot units because people are starting to have families and everything along those lines.
Absolutely.
So, and that's the thing. Now that's when you see the slight increase in those 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms that are 800 square foot.
Funny enough how that's happening all of a sudden, because you wouldn't usually fit a 2-bed, 2-bath in anything under 1,000 square feet. Right. But hey, man, that's just the way it is. That's just the way the cookie. But I got to tell you the truth, man. With the province, and this may not obviously affect a lot of people, but your boy Dougie, he really wants to create like that transit corridor to the urban areas, more urban sprawl. But the good news for that is, if you can get to downtown in a manageable time, you can weasel out to the burbs and live in a house, right? Most of us grew up that way.
I don't know too much about the Ontario line, but I heard it's not going to be too bad.
No, but that's still more Toronto, though. I'm talking about GO transit, right? Where you have that dedicated daily
service. We need more angles, right? Because right now the GO is just kind of essentially east and west into the city, and then the north line. You got to kind of get hit in between the
Absolutely. Yeah, we have 270 degrees of sprawl in this city. All right. Enough Toronto stuff, guys. Still keeping my eye on DBI over here as it zigs and zags. Still waiting to get printed at 77s. It went up to 77. That is a high of the day, but alas, it did not cross. So we're not involved in that print. But this disappointed me here. I was not aware of how many shares I had left, that is, on BLMN. That's my mistake, nobody else's. And this one is really going without me. Last Beekwetter we got there was at 88. Now it's got a high of the day of 98. So I just missed out on a 10-penny move right there because I was not cognizant of the amount of shares that I had remaining. So that's on me. We'll look to do better next time. But I'm still not seeing any small cap gapper to my liking. I won't trade BMNR. It's too hard to manage risk on that one, especially on the show, and I don't want to have to be kind of throwing it to Joe every 2 seconds here so that I can manage this position. But this is on the tear right now. BMNR is on a rampage, and it's got a fantastic looking chart, at least on the 5. It hasn't even touched the 10 exponential moving average since it reclaimed it, I want to say, at around 10:55. So we're going now on almost 40 minutes of this really getting extended, and there it goes into the high of the day again, 73.14. This is up 115% on the day. And guys, if you think 115% was good today, take a gander at what it did yesterday. It was up 412%. And then it started running in the aftermarket. Why does it run in the aftermarket? Oh yeah, that's right. There's no volatility halt parameter. So this thing ended up running another 60% in the aftermarket. And then basically from the yesterday's close to right now, we're up 120%. So, or 115%, excuse me. So keep your eye on this one. If you're okay with trading these more volatile names, have at it. I perceive here technical support at $60. You have a pre-market rejection at that level. You also have the initial implied balance high right at that open there at 940. It spikes up to 60, rejects, drops all the way down to about 44.23, and that is essentially the low of day. Since that time, though, when it made the low of day, it's been putting in higher highs and higher lows. I picked this up maybe with like just very small size if it does dip back into 60 and shows me that the buyers are stepping in. So BMNR, an absolute monster yesterday, an absolute monster in the aftermarket, and an absolute monster in the pre-market today. And guess what? It remains a monster during the regular trading hours. So it's a monster at all times. Top pink tail candle right now, Joseph, ugly topping tail candle, 74.80, so let's say 75, and it just dropped down into $68. Very dangerous, very volatile. I'm going to continue to say that. I don't care if I sound like a broken record, but I need to make that point very clear so that you guys get that these ones are dangerous so that you trade them accordingly. BMNR, Joseph, a monster. Oh,
beautiful.
Don G. Dangler. I like that name. BMNR has a BTC treasury worth $250 million. Their market cap at that level is probably an okay support. That's a very interesting way of looking at it. I like that. You're kind of looking at the fundamentals and you're kind of mixing that in with the technicals, and I don't mind that whatsoever. I think that is probably the best idea. So is this one BTC or is it? I thought it was ETH.
It is Ethereum.
Thanks,
that's what I was just going to come in to say. They just announced that private placement to raise $250 million for that Ethereum treasury. To my knowledge, I'm not seeing that they're currently sitting on anything. I mean, if that's different, please correct me. But as of right now, Ethereum treasury, much like a lot of these small caps as of late, $250 million private placement, that was what led to the move yesterday. I
appreciate that, Adara. Yeah, and Don G. Dangler correcting himself there, saying, sorry, ETH. Yeah, absolutely, Don. Gotcha, my man. It's a good look, and we've seen this, the Michael, I don't know, what should we call it? Should we call it the sailor strategy?
The sailor strategy.
Right? You just add BTC or crypto to your balance sheet, and then you're good to go. The market buys you up.
Yeah, I know, but again, I don't know if Ether obviously is obviously not Bitcoin, right? There's not a limited supply of Bitcoin, so I think it's slightly different. But by all means, if you can find a way and people want to start grabbing it, then you can start using it with the smart contracts. We know the likes of Microsoft was using them for their gaming sector with Xbox and everything.
I like the smart contracts.
I think they're great.
I think they're fantastic, and you can prove ownership of any product and Walmart transfer ownership next to instantaneously. Like, for example, if I own a piece of art and you want to know if it's a legitimate piece of art or not, it can have that obviously in the smart contract.
Yeah,
and then you can prove ownership. Nobody can kind of come at you and say you got it illegally or anything like that.
Absolutely. Well, we've seen it in these smart contracts. One minute, Adara. We've seen in the likes of Xbox, right? So because there's so many components that go to making a game, they have these smart contracts in place that, okay, yeah, if this criteria is hit, if this is met, if this is met, then each individual gets paid throughout the smart contracts. And then also with Walmart's supply chain is that you can go all the way back from where you've allocated that piece of fruit through the supply chain using some of these contracts to actually where it
fantastic. I didn't think about that.
Originated. Yeah,
very smart idea. Go ahead,
Adara, what do you got for us?
Just be aware here, we do have President Donald Trump speaking right now from Alligator Alcatraz. It was supposed to do a business roundtable, or not a business roundtable, but some kind of roundtable. Right now, it's just three guys standing in a very loud facility, so that, to my knowledge, it's not the roundtable yet. But just letting you know, he is speaking right now. He's talking mostly about Iran, so nothing super market related as of right now, but it's always worth noting when he's talking. Back to you.
Derek, come back. Explain what this Alcatraz thing is, because some people may not know.
Without stepping into the political lines here, so basically,
that's fine.
If you
This
guys
is
have
the
heard of
midday show, baby.
Alcatraz, the prison. So Alligator Alcatraz is, as Caroline Levitt put it yesterday, it's basically a new detention center for immigrants who have committed crimes. And the goal with Alligator Alcatraz, you might be able to tell from the name, was to introduce dangerous wildlife or species as a bit of a deterrent from leaving said facility, because there will be alligators outside at your door if you leave.
We only need sharks with lasers on. I think that would be the next.
Not lasers, freaking lasers.
Freaking lasers. Yes. What is happening here?
What in the days?
Anyway, bro, it's all good. All good. Everything's fine, guys. I just think it's very, very, very unusual.
Very interesting.
Very unusual.
Okay, let's go through the options chain here, guys, and I don't want to hear anything else after this. All right. So yesterday, what was the high on Google?
What?
Okay, so in the pre-market until we opened up, it was around 180, 199. I think was the high, 180, and then sure enough, we're flushing. Where's the highest level of open interest on Google? That is going to be right at that 180 strike price. And everybody in the chat who was saying, Joe, why are you short Google? Well, yesterday I was actually long Google, and this is mostly due to this swing trade right here. Once I closed that up, I opened it up on Monday, and then I closed the position, 66% of the position on Monday as well. And then you can still see I'm holding a little bit of Google right there, and that's what we have going on. Now, moving forward, that's just on X. We're looking at that options chain. Moving forward, it was only about 20 minutes ago when we were talking about Apple 210. What happened with Apple on that second retest? You get to a high as 210.20. And then sure enough, you reject off of that level once again here. So 210, 44,000, highest level of open interest. That is a call wall, a supply zone, not enough demand to absorb it. What happens? You reject off those levels aggressively, and then now you're heading to the low of the day, around 206.85, and that selling pressure has continued. Now, moving forward to another big-time name. Oh, I sound like a broken record, Joe. Well, we got to start utilizing these trades. We got to start implementing this within our systems. Los Polios already did this. He said, Joe, I was long on some calls on Apple from 205. I got out at 210 right at that call wall. Bang. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to do. What did we see yesterday on NVDA? You get that move up. You have the inability to breach 160, 139,000, times that by 100, and then the price of the stock. That's how much that's how much size we have notionally at that 160 strike price. Sure enough, what happens? We don't even look back. We can't breach 160. Not enough demand north of that. And that's why when everybody in the chats ask me, is it a good time to buy this, this, and that? Well, just understand what's going on and what you need to happen next week in order for that trade to start working out for you. I'm not going to say no to start allocating everything, but you don't go 100% all at one time. I mentioned this before. You have 10 grand that you're looking to put into a position, 2,500 here, 2,500 there, 1,000 here, 1,000 there, 1,000 here, 1,000 there, and then eventually you build into that $10,000 position. And sure enough, you always want to keep an eye on the options chain, because if it's telling you that we're not going to go higher than a specific number, you better listen to it, Tree.
You better listen, man. TER, says Jameson. Having a look, brother. Let me just weasel that on the top chart over there. TER. Okay, Jameson, I see you, sir. Look, it's only up 1.5%. It's a $90 stock. I won't trade it, but I'll look at it for you and I'll give you my honest opinion. So let's load that up. BMNR still holding trend, even though it had that ugly topping tail. Still not anywhere near the 10 exponential moving average. Let's have a look at TER. Teradyne, $14 2/3 billion market cap. Nice breakout there, Jameson. Right at 11.15 off that 89.70 area. Now we're knocking the door of 91.5 with that 91 1/3 HOD. What's going on with this one? Not seeing anything here. Does it have anything from yesterday? The answer is no. Day prior. Thank you, Adara. Not seeing anything. Teradyne, they're an automated test equipment and robotics solution. So robotics. Amazon, Adara, I think, was talking about robotics today, talking about, they're going to build them in the United States rather than relying on Asia. The company designs, develops, and manufactures and sells automated test systems and robotics products. Segment includes semiconductor tests and robotics. Okay, so it seems it's a robotics story. I don't know why it's up. It's only up 1.5.
What ticker was it?
TER, Adara.
TER.
Yeah, Teradyne.
Teradyne,
Yeah, thank you for that. Appreciate you. There goes the high of the day again, 91.34. Big boy moves on TER. Again, it's not a big percentage winner, but it's a nice breakout there. Good technical pattern with a bull flag forming. Seems to be between 91 and 91 and a third. I'd let it go below 91, but you're going to have to keep an eye on the spread as always. Okay, guys? All right, we're taking prints again here on DBI as it continues to make new highs. 79 now, the high of the day. We're going to wet the beak at 79, and then you know if we're going to print in the 60s or the 80s, it's going to be 69 or 82. I like those numbers. Guys, something's going on with Unity. It's like making noise in my ear. Okay, there, it went away. I don't know what the hell just happened there.
Test me out there, Fabian.
It's good now.
Okay.
Yeah, you can test him if you want, but it's okay now. All right, so DBI, keeping my eye on that one. Still got shares. Now I've put in another dip trade here for BLMN. It came into 10. 10.05 is the high. I'm looking for a bigger retracement and not just a whole 10. It only got to 10.05, so it's not like exactly a clear 10 by some distance. So I'm looking for a pull into the 10 exponential. So I've set up a dip trade at the 90s. I made a mistake on this one. I got out too much too quickly. I was unaware of the shareage that I had. That's on me. So we'll look to do a little bit better by looking to get in at the right area. So here's what I'm seeing on my side chart. If I can show you guys why I'm looking to dip trade right there. BLMN. This is the 10 EMA on the 5, and the 10 EMA, as you can see here, just a lot of respect for the price action and the 10 EMA. And if you're a newer trader and be like, Sharif, bro, you know, what are these lines that are showing up on your chart that you think the price is respecting? Well, brother, it's a great question if you're newer to trading, because it seems like all hocus pocus. But what's actually happening here is that there is automated trading systems, algorithms, mechanical trading systems, whatever, that are basing their buy and their sell orders off these lines. So it ends up being a self-fulfilling prophecy that everybody's looking at. Not everybody, but a lot of people are looking at them, and the people with buying power are basing the trades off that. So it's no, no shock, or there's a reason why it's doing that. So that's going to be my move, a move off the 10 EMA on the 5, and that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Look at DBI go. It's a print factory on DBI right now. Higher highs and higher lows. We just got to 81 HOD. I'm waiting at 82. How many shares do I have left? We still got shares on, so we'll be able to take more. So I'm keeping my eye on DBI, turning into one of the best small cap gappers patterns, I would say, on the day. Let's see if it ends up staying that way, Joseph. 282, that's what I'm looking at there.
Good look there, brother. So yeah, a couple people in the chat are asking me what specific names I am currently looking at. Well, you can see that now we're sitting on the backside of this downtrend on Google. So we got to keep an eye out on this, especially if we're going to look for the continuation to that downside. So as long as we can, if this does hold right here, then I won't be looking for that move. As soon as we sit on the back end of that, then there could be a potential addition to this short here. All right, so just keep that in mind. And this was yesterday's session, some aggressive selling here on Google, and yeah, and I right in the pre-market, as soon as I opened my eyes, I'm like, yeah, let's sell some of this stuff here all the way up at 180, and I'm like, yeah, because it's just following what the options market is telling you. Leave a little bit of a runner, and I think there's going to be a good opportunity to add. And it's the same thing with Apple, right? We have our TA done on Apple. We can pull this up from a daily. And it's just this downtrend. I was talking about it yesterday. It doesn't take much of a catalyst to get this thing going. So now if we start to pull back and we hold that specific level, well, guess what? That's when you slowly start to start grabbing shares. Those shares start working, Sharif. Guess what? You start to add contracts and try to make that position as large as you possibly can, especially if it's already winning. Use your shares to build a cushion, then hop into those leverage products, and then really get those exponential moves that you're looking for. And I think that's what's going to happen there in AAPL. So if we come into 105, then that's perfect. I grab a little shares here. It starts to climb a little bit higher, 105.50. We grab a couple more, and then eventually, once the thesis is really working around 208, 210, then that's when you add a contract or so, and then look for that move all the way up into 215 or this previous resistance zone that we're experiencing right at 214.54. All right, so that is my game plan. I tell you guys my swing trade headline, win or lose. I took a loss on some Bitcoin contracts, but it canceled out by selling some shares, so it mitigates that loss. But now Bitcoin is really struggling along that. So let's pull it up here, actually. It's really struggling at 108 here, Sharif. And now we're rejecting. You can see that we've now formed a shelf here right at that 105. So if you open up below this, I'm going to suspect that we're going to see some potential more downside in Bitcoin. And that's why I decided to get out. It's either we were going to break through that 108 with momentum and velocity, but that wasn't the case. We just continued to sell. We rejected aggressively. One day I woke up, it's like, oh, 108. I'm like, okay, we're looking pretty good. But then in a couple hours later, we're now back at 107 and 106. So I just told myself, all right, the trade isn't working how we want to. I'm not married to it in any sense, even though I do love the underlying asset. I'm just going to hop out. My objective is to put on good trades and make money, not fall in love with a particular name or a cryptocurrency.
Yeah, I don't like falling in love with particular names.
No, exactly, ever.
BMNR, guys, halted to the downside. Now, the problem with trading on the Amex exchange on this one, oh God. Whatever, I can't speak. That's what the problem is. All right, BMNR, it trades on the Amex, okay? And because it trades on the Amex, we're not gonna get the theoretical auction price, so we'll just get basically where it says tap right there, so I can tell you what the, where it's leaning to buy or sell orders. We're not gonna be able to say that, so it's just halted at 63.42. The halt time, Joseph, 11:50.44. It's 11:51.44 now, okay? So we're 1 minute deep into what could be more than a 5-minute halt. So the volatility halts come in waves of 5. So we're gonna keep an eye out on this one. BMNR, I like this again off 60, guys, all right? That's the level that I'm looking at. I like it for price action support. I'm talking about that topping tail into 60. I'm talking about these topping tails into 58. So 60 would be where I pick it up. Whether or not I pick it up at 60, that's going to have to come down to what I see on the time and sales, what I see on the 5-second chart when it does make its way down there, okay? It's open. I don't see a... What the hell?
What the hell?
So that's completely wrong. So gave me the wrong time there. Anyway, it seems to be finding some support here. There's a buyer here at 62 and change, 62. So it's finding support at, okay, so it lost 62. Here we go, 61.50, back up to 62. So the bamboozlement, you know, I don't want to say it's that bad. This is certainly not too bad right now. So BMNR looking to hold 60 here. Let's see if it does and pops back up into that $65 area. That's where the 10 EMA is. So it's using now the 10 EMA as resistance, if I can say that so right here, 65 or so. That's where the 10 EMA is. Let's keep an eye out on this one. BMNR clearing 65, 66 now. So there you go. There was the buy, and up it goes into 67. This is one for the books right here. It was just at 61. Now it's at 67. Here we go. It feels like we're getting back to 70 awfully quick. 68 it is. BMNR, a big boy stock on the day. Trade this one carefully, though. Seriously, guys, for real, because it is quite dangerous. All right. So we got up to 285 now on DBI. That is the high of the day. I've got one profit taker left on this one, so I'm going to let this one go. I'll let it go all the way down into my entry if I have to. I'll see if it, you know, wants to work its way back up to 3. The only question really that I have for myself is here, do I add at 275? And why 275, kind of a random area? Well, that's where the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 is. So we'll see. We'll see. I only have one out left on this one, so I'll just pack my patience and I'll make a decision later. I got into BLMN again. Initial entry here, I believe, at 98s or 99s. I've got another planned dip trade to defend 90. And that's where the 10 EMA on the 5 is, so that's why my order is there. So BLMN, second trade on this one. First one profitable, but we kind of glitched a little bit and took it out too quickly, so we're right back into this one, planning to DCA more into that 10 EMA, which is showing me 90s or 88s, showing me 88s. So we'll keep tabs on that one. Last but not least, Joseph, CTOR, one that we kind of had a little bit on the side chart over here, but didn't say too much about. because it had lost the volume weighted average price, is all of a sudden right back above VWAP. So now it's back in play. And it's already cleared the pre-market high, with the high of the day being 520. It's showing 495 now. It's been above the volume weighted average price going on 20 minutes or almost, reclaiming it around 1135. So CTOR could be a nice squeeze above that 5. We know that 5 will be a resistance level for a couple of reasons. Psychological resistance, as we always talk about. But look at these candles over here. All of them reject off 5 before dropping down, then finally clearing that level. So there was certainly a seller at 5 initially. We'll see whether or not they show up there again. So that's a look. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, good stuff there, guys. I want to take a look at the top performing sectors, and we're seeing a little bit of a rotation here, Sharif. Leading the way, materials is up 2 3/4 on the day. So that's a big time move. XLB, guys, go check it out. We'll pull that up momentarily. Or actually, let's take a look at it right now because we can, right? XLB, this is the material sector ETF. And then sure enough, look, guys, we break through some key resistance zones, and then you see a big time momentum move there in the material sector. And then boom, this is parabolic, straight to the top side. This is crazy, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Only 3 red candles on the day there, are 4 if you want to count this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. There, so it's something
What
nice
is this, nail?
No, XLB.
XLB, okay.
Yeah, the materials ETF. Yeah, very interesting. Big time move up 2%, over 2%, 2.7% to be exact there, guys. And then we got XLV sitting in second place. That is going to be the healthcare sector on another big time move, up 2% here on the day, guys, with the low of around 134, and now we're trading around 138. So if you're looking to find signs of strength, even though it may be too late right now, this is what you got to go through. You got to go through these top performing sectors and see what's hot and then what's not. Consumer staples, XLP, looking pretty good today as well too, guys. We're up by about 1.5% on the day. So those are your top 3 win, place, and show for all my pony and dog racers out there. And then utilities sitting in third last, down about 0.1%, XLU. Wow, I can go through all of these. So there you go. These are going to be the only 3 sectors. Is the bottom 3. We go with the top 3, and then we take a look at the bottom 3. And then we have the XLC, the communication service, down about 0.8%. And then XLK down 1.2, 1.5 there, guys. We'll take a look at XLK. And I'm surprised that I remember all of these off by heart, but there it is. Down 1.2%. XLK still trading below the volume-weighted average price in last place today, being led by the likes of NVDA, Google, and AMD.
Why is the market selling off so aggressively today? What's a lot of profit taking from all-time highs? Because there's really no bad catalyst. There's not too much bad, right?
You know what? Michael Noss and I were talking yesterday, and I asked him the question. I said, at what point do you think that this market is slightly overbought? We have NVDA up 80% off of the Liberation Day lows. We have the overall market up 30+% off of those Liberation Day lows. And he was talking about before. He said the market was waiting for a pullback that it never got to experience. And now I'm thinking, are we slightly extended, considering from a percentage gain that we're up there, and maybe we're.
What do you say?
He said, yeah. Well, he said, no. He actually said there's still a lot of traders and institutions that are still short and have cash on the sideline that can lead this market to continuously run. So maybe not. Maybe in the short term we're slightly overbought, but in the long term there's still a lot of cash.
That's fantastic.
And individuals on the
that's exactly what I've been hearing as well. A lot of money still sitting on the sidelines that could find its way. Some of it found its way into European exchanges. I don't know if you saw that. They made all-time highs as well.
There was a rotation as well. And I had a point, and it just slipped my mind that we were just talking.
It'll come back.
It'll come back. But right now we're going to Adara.
Yep.
Keep an eye on Amazon and some of these quantum players, because Amazon just announced apparently they're introducing device layout, a software package for computer-aided design of quantum integrated circuits. Also, the Senate vote is now beginning on the big, beautiful bill. Not likely to be market related, but we know this has been something on watch, certainly for the economy, and you could potentially keep an eye on solar stocks with that in mind. Actually, we'll just do happening now here as well, because I just realized it's 12 p.m. and Neil will not do his lesson of the day because he's on vacation. So lots of stocks to watch today. Beyond this quantum space, I mean, there's been a lot of weakness in certain areas of the market. Let's talk about Netflix. Went from all-time highs, now trading around $12.80. This is down roughly on a dollar basis, around $50 on the day. So pretty bad look for NFLX. No catalyst that I could find on it. But one name that did certainly have a catalyst and does is TSLA, Tesla on watch here. Elon Musk, CEO of the company, and his former friend, President Donald Trump of the United States, are engaged once again in a little bit of a war of words, with Donald Trump saying that he has no problem getting Department of Government Efficiency, formerly run by Elon Musk, to investigate Musk's subsidies. Really interesting stuff here for this market, that is for sure. Lots of these small cap runners as well. As Sharif's been talking about, BMNR. Tons of names on watch today, without a doubt, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying what you're seeing. Check us out every single day. Send you back to the guys.
All right, guys. Looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, SPY, or even Bitcoin? Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there. They give traders the chance to manage up to $1 million in capital. Pick your path, instant funded, challenge, or pro account, and start trading your way to real payouts and even a live account. In the last 90 days alone, they've paid out over $10 million and earned 1,000 plus 5-star reviews from real traders. Use the discount code TraderTV to save on any account. Scan the QR code or head to the top1futures.com. Start trading towards your next potential payout there, guys. And one thing that I also wanted to add, just me obviously because I like watching some of the individuals on CNBC, and our guy Tom Lee claimed that this is the most hated V reversal and recovery in the market. Why? Because what Sharif and I were just talking about, there's still so much cash on the sidelines. People were not expecting what we have been going through in the past couple of months since those Liberation Day lows, that the market would put in all-time highs. Katina Man said, yeah, the market's going to put in all-time highs relatively soon. I said there was no chance that it does it this year, and then sure enough, we're up 30% there. But yes, there's a couple people in the chat, and we have some super chats that we are going to go over. I will go over Whiskey Mike. We will go over APLD for you momentarily. But first, we have to take care of these super chats. What's going on, family? Can I get some info on Ford, please? Sure. Let's take a look at F. Oh, wow, okay. Big time move in Ford there, Sharif. Only a couple red candles on the day, but a nice move from the low of 1079 to 1133. But I'm sure if we zoom out, this isn't going to be that pretty. Not horrible off of the Liberation Day lows. I would be suspecting a little bit worse, but here it is. There's some key resistance zones that it needs to break through. One thing to note is that the momentum, it looks like it's heading towards that resistance level, and if you can sit on top of that range, who knows, this breakout can continue and this move sustain. So that's the like on Forward. And once again, thank you for that $5
Thank you very much,
chat. Vaughn. One more thing. Yeah, exactly. Vaughn, thank you very much. And then we're going to go over APLD for my guy, Whiskey Mike. APLD, why is it rejecting a specific level? Let's take a look at the chain. And I mean, I talked to a lot of the traders in the chat. It's only a couple dollars to get options activity, the data program, right? So you may as well just go and spend that money if your broker allows you to do so. It's like $3 or $4 for all that up to market speed options data. It's well worth it. And if you put transactions, the more you spend in commissions, I'm pretty sure you don't even have to pay that. So it's up to like a couple transactions, and then that fee is waived. But for APLD, why is the spread so crazy, and why doesn't it move as much in the options? $10 call, $7.25. Let's pull up the actual underlying here on a chart and see what we got going on. Why isn't it that? I mean, it's a $10 stock, right? So don't expect this thing to move. Like if it moves $1, that's a 10% move in this name. But here it is. It's starting to cool off. What am I seeing from an options chain standpoint? Nothing crazy there, Sharif. There's no outstanding size of open interest. There is a little bit of a concentration relative to what we got going on here at 10 through that 11 area. But other than that, on this week's expiration cycle, seems relatively cool. We can zoom out and go to a week out. 10, nothing substantial just yet. Wait for that rollover. But overhead, sometimes, I'm not saying all the times the answers lie in the options market, but you can see that small concentration right here, and that might be causing some overhead resistance.
Would you believe me if I told you?
You know, for 3? 3? Is
BMNR giveth.
Is that 3?
Yes, and BMNR taketh away. Boom! movement to the high side, Joseph.
Doesn't even, oh, you're out
It doesn't even actually look that good. That's the thing, because the move is just so big. But at least I caught the bottom.
Not a partial fill on that. It looks like.
Can you believe that? And I wasn't even taking big size. Like, how the hell do you get a partial fill on that?
That's question.
Like, I'm not even gonna lie to you.
Damn.
But yeah, this was a good one. Right up to 70. We got into 66 and change. Wet the beak, all the way up to 70. Happy with this trade, guys. I've been using, as I've mentioned before, on the top screen, my 5-second chart. I'm using the 5-second chart as kind of like another way of viewing the level 2 in the way that you kind of would use Bookmap. If you guys know what Bookmap is, it just kind of shows you where it's essentially a level 2, but it doesn't disappear. It stays there visually on the chart. So you can see where the buyers were stepping in, what the micro trend pullback or the micro trend is. So that was my move here on BMNR. I liked the buyer there at around 66.5. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about here so you guys can get you guys can understand what I mean. If I can just bring the screen down. Why is it not letting me? There we go. So this is the 5-second chart on BMNR. They bought up right here. It got bought up right here, and that's where I punched in, right there. And so then I got a bit of a scalp, right? But, you know, this obviously is a risky trade, and that's why I really waited a long time before getting in. Anyway, we'll see. This one is still putting in lower highs and lower lows. It really has had trouble clearing above 70, so we're going to keep tabs on that. Separately, I'm back into BLMN. We just printed up into 9s there. That is the high of the day. I just went to peak at 7s. I'm waiting at 11s now on that one. DBI, still holding this one. Disappointed in myself. I got distracted. I did not add on the 10 EMA retracement into 75 and then back up into 82 it goes. So that was a mistake on my part. I was talking, and sometimes when, you know, obviously we're doing a show here, and you don't execute perfectly as you would be maybe on your desk when you're giving it your 100% focus. So that was an oversight on my part and a mistake by me. So we'll keep an eye out on that. And if it gives me another opportunity at the 10 EMA and I see everything that I like, I will be adding to DBI. Glaze Entertainment, drop in cash in the chat. Joseph, $10. Shout out to Glaze. Sometimes I print with y'all, sometimes I print solo, but love you guys. Can we see what's going on with Mr.? Absolutely. You do not need to invite me to look at MSTR. Shout out to Strategy, formerly known as MicroStrategy.
Oh, wow, Google.
You want to cover this?
Yeah,
Google,
go ahead.
before I weasel into this?
Cover the super chat. Yeah,
all right, so let's just take a quicker view here of where strategy is at. I feel strategy's been locked in a bit of a consolidation lately, and let's just say since that triple bottom that it put in there at 230. We've been certainly getting support, Mr. Glaze, right at 360 there, with certainly some resistance, at least locally, at 400. So I feel it's a bit of a $40 range and has been since we lost that $400 back in late May, right before my birthday there. So it's 360, as I mentioned, to the downside, 400 to the top side. That's the range that we've been in for over a month. With that in mind, let's now look at the 5-minute chart and see what it's doing intraday. So it's a bit of a sell today. You know, I personally would not be trading this one, but I know Adara does. Adara, do you have a look at MicroStrategy that maybe you can give them a better view of how you would trade MSTR? Because this is not my cup of tea.
Well, I actually did trade it today.
Perfect.
Is this intraday that they're looking for or more long?
Intraday, Adara. Can we show Adara's chart?
Awesome. So I'll show you guys the chart. Fortunately, I did not have the size I wanted on these, and I'm going to change my fill colors because I realized they are kind of blending in. We're going to make the buys a little bit lighter. I apologize for doing this on the fly, but I was nicely caught unaware, so I'm excited to show this. So here, as you can see here, lighter color, get in on VWAP long, add here, then we get stopped out as we break below VWAP. Then I flip short. When basically we break below that VWAP level, that is around just below 390. We'll say 390 because if it rounds up, it's 390. Took my first piece of profit here at 384. That's because we kind of broke below this previous area of support around 385s. Then we end up getting stopped out here at around 382s. Right now, to me, this is kind of a no-go.
Can you explain why you got stopped out there? Was that prior bar high?
It was a prior bar break here on the 15-minute. But even look, it's a prior structure break too, because that was the most previous area of resistance. If we break above that resistance, I have no reason to be there. Now, I also want to compare MSTR to another crypto name that I'm actually in right now, and that is Coinbase. MSTR right now is kind of in the middle of its range. It's not breaking out. It's not breaking down. Coinbase, meanwhile, my friend COIN, as you can see, I've traded this today, that's breaking down. We're breaking to a new low of day. So right now, if you're looking for a kind of spreadier crypto option, I would say Coinbase is more in play. By no means am I telling people to trade it. I'm just saying that compared to coin, I would say MSTR is a little bit more dormant right now. It's taking a little bit of a nap. So, maybe just let it nap, wait till it wakes up. For me, I think it either needs to break above that 382 or make a new low of day to wake up.
Thank you, Adara, for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go, my man. Shout out to Glaze. You got it from the spready trader herself. So keep your eye out on that. Joseph.
Yeah.
What's going on your side,
Well,
my
I was
man?
gonna say, I was gonna show you this.
Show me.
You think we should do this?
Oh. Well, look, bro, is Ram going to pay for it?
I'll pay for
because
it.
I don't want to eat it if Ram is not paying for it,
I'll
bro.
pay for it.
You're going to pay for it?
Yeah, and then but we got to get approval from Katina, man.
Look at her coming.
Come, Georgia.
She was coming in hot there. I got a little worried. We're going to get sushi?
No, man.
I don't mind
thought we were
sushi. I
how do we
actually
go
don't
from
mind.
something masculine like wings to sushi?
Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, we've offended everybody now in the chat who likes sushi. All right. I don't think.
Wings are-
Yeah. There's a lot of protein in the wings. I don't
Yeah.
think they're not masculine, but I just don't see why sushi has to be. I know it's emasculine. I don't know what's the
I'm not calling it
opposite of
demasculine. I just think wings are a little bit more, you know what I mean? Got the protein in it.
I do need the protein, Fabian, you're right, but there is protein in sushi. Not exactly big boy protein. I don't mind.
The wings?
I don't mind sushi. I'll get wings.
I'm not the biggest fan of
I'll get
sushi.
wings. Ram, you're causing a big problem here. Like, what the hell's going on?
Well, I was looking at the 100 wings for $149 with 6 flavors
149, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna get
at Wingstop. Why? That's like $10 each.
It's a lot. I don't know. You should have messaged to Brendo.
Yeah, we'll see. We got to confirm with Katina Man first.
Yeah. Well, that's a beautiful thing, though, is that we actually have a way to build them. You saw it on S8. You know how to do it?
No.
I'll show you.
All right, then fire it up. Then you know how to do it. You can buy them.
I'm absolutely not
Okay,
buying
that's
it.
fair,
I don't
that's
have a
fair.
debit card. I don't have any.
No
any
Diet
thing.
Coke, FF. Man. We don't drink the pops. We drink water.
All right, I gotta show everybody this, bro. Okay, so Adara brought us this headline earlier. Adara, I'm gonna show it. I'm gonna have to load it up here on the gram. So take over for a second, Joseph, because this is really funny.
For sure.
And I think people may get a kick out of this.
All right, let's go. So I mean, Google, this was a really nice trade here. From that move, holding that trend line. You can see it on the 5-minute here, guys.
Oh.
Ooh.
He's such a liability.
Yeah, we're not, but thank you for that
you-
one there, brother. We can't
Oh,
repeat
wow,
that,
bro.
no.
Big Spile. How are we supposed to say that, bro? Like,
you know what I mean?
Delusion is that, Big Spile. We
can't read
What do you say? Oh, hold on. Let me read it out to you, Ram. So I want to play this. Assassino. Can we show my screen? So President Trump, while touring Alligator Alcatraz, said the following. Biden wanted me in here. Didn't work out that way, that son of a He's unbelievable. And look at what's his name? Gavin Newscomb. Wasn't he calling him Newscomb during the election? All of a sudden, he's buddy. Shout out to Kristi Noem as well, obviously Department of Homeland Security chief there. This is fantastic stuff. Donald Trump does not disappoint in terms of headlines and comedy. Unreal, bro. Biden wanted me in here.
We could do that. We could get a bunch of, even though Sharif wouldn't have that, it is Canada Day, so we could get poutine. We could get a bunch of poutine.
I'm not eating poutine. Bro, what
I know you were going to eat the poutine. But
Poutine, man.
yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's like 1,000 calories, and they're all carbohydrates and fat.
When was the last time you had one?
Like high school.
Lying.
Yeah, like New York fries. We would always hit up the food court,
fire.
right? Weasel on over to New York fries.
There you go.
Yeah, anyway. That's sorry, DeSantis, DeSanctimonious. My mistake. Sorry, Benton. I mistook one governor for the other. Ron DeSanctimonious. Isn't that what he was calling him, Adara?
Well, I was also going to say, apparently Trump was at one point floating the nickname Meatball Ron. I don't know if it ever stuck, but there were reports that was a thing at one point. So I just wanted to say that.
Thank you, Adara. We want to make sure we get everybody's mean names right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Let me get the mean.
All right, guys. All right. Maybe we should have put a poll. Ram. Maybe we should throw up a poll.
Yeah, wings or sushi?
Yeah. We'll just see what the chat has to say. Wings or sushi? Assassino, are we able to put up a poll, wings or sushi? Yes, okay. Assassino's going to throw it up. You guys will be able to vote. And then Ram will have to eat what the chat dictates. She will not get her sushi. No, you're going to have to return it, Ram.
Okay, no. You know what? Ram? I'm going to eat one of the sushi, and I'm going to grade it. You're going to get a salmon with Joe, and I'm going to give the sushi an honest rating.
Ram, you're supposed to be playing along here. You get whatever you want.
Yeah, you can be like, obviously.
Goodness
we're gonna try.
gracious,
We're gonna get the sushi
with this woman.
What? So you're gonna bring in the sushi. I'm gonna try it on there, and then it's gonna get its rating.
I didn't pick the place.
Mike.
It doesn't matter with the place.
Mike.
Yeah.
Mike.
So as you say, we're gonna try it. I'm gonna try the sushi when it gets here. I like see the thing in my. Okay, we're going to it there. Yeah, we're going to it there. Enough of this sushi talk.
Get it, Adara.
I have news that is not about sushi. Keep an eye on TSLA. Apparently, PFA, I guess a local news agency, reporting that Tesla registrations were down 10% in France. For some reason, Tesla stock is pumping on this. But yeah, be aware, I am seeing apparently Tesla registrations down 10% in France. We know they've been struggling in basically every region of Europe that isn't Norway, where they're actually doing incredibly well. Back to you.
Jameson keeps talking about TER, and Jameson, my man, I mean, you're absolutely right. There's nothing to argue with about here. We're taking out levels, my man. TER is moving, and it's moving well. It's now 2 2/3, excuse me, up on the day, having closed a little bit below 90, taking out that 92 1/3 right now. It's not got the most amount of volume. That's certainly the case, but it's got a very respectable pattern right now, not even retracing back down into the 10. And as you can see, the candles that do come close to the 10 EMA on the 5 are being bought up. Case in point, these bottoming tail candles, all 3 red candles are bottoming tail candles. So shout out to Jameson. Good call out by you, my man. TER is the ticker, up 2 2/3. Now, back to the current trade at hand here. On BLMN, I got back in at 98, went the beak there at 12s. Now the high of the day, a topping tail candle into 216. Okay. I'm going to wait at 15 because I'm a schmuck and didn't have a resting order. Joseph, how many times do I have to remind myself you got to have resting orders on these bad boys? So BLMN, we're going to put some at 15. And then guess what?
What?
We're going to put some at 20s. And then see if we can get a beak wetter in and around there. So guys, we're doing it freaking live right now on these small caps. We've been in 4 small caps today, 3 for 4 in the day. My only loser, VOR, was a small loser. So hopefully we won't make that mistake again. Keeping my eye on these bad boys right now. Make sure to vote, guys, because if you guys vote for Wings, Ram can't have her sushi. Yeah, so Wings is winning right now.
It's complete domination.
It's not domination. It's 60-40, bro. Calm down.
That's complete domination, in my opinion, guys. But no, in all seriousness, nice score. Way to hop out of some NVDA there. One thing that is starting to rip, guys, and it's dragging the SPY up with it. Can you guess what sector there, Sharif?
The SPY?
XLF, baby. XLF is helping drag.
Joseph, is it at all-time highs yet? Can we take a quick look at
the I should have got
some. We got to be wetting the beak there soon. We're very close. We're very close.
Okay, yeah, we're going to probably hit that momentarily, so that's a good trade there. Celino actually owns some XLF.
Does she?
Yeah, I got it.
Can I say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think, obviously she's free to do what she'd like, but you know that your boy Donald wants to have a deregulatory push for these banks, right? The stress test was step number 1 to make sure that they could, hang. And then step number 2 is going to be in Q3 or Q4 this year. There's going to be a huge deregulatory push. And if that is the case, they got a lot more cash that they can kind of deploy in other.
Like we've seen in the likes of, I think, who was it, Goldman Sachs or something that got that?
It was ridiculous, Goldman yesterday, right? So what I'm trying to say is I don't think we've seen the best of the XLF push quite yet.
There we go. So bang, we like Jeremy Diamond and company, especially in that XLF. So maybe Treve's telling me to buy a little bit more. I know you're.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Bro, I've been holding this since January 2024. So to me, this one, it's a good one.
Buy any on their old dips?
I did not add to XLF. No, I did not. That's the truth.
Fair enough. But you can see how the SPY is significantly stronger than what we're seeing in the tech-heavy Nasdaq here, guys. And that's just because of the broadening of kind of the sectors. We're seeing the materials leading the way, healthcare sector, and then staples. But then we also have XLF starting to pick up. It is positive, only about 1/3% here. But still, that is helping the SPY be significantly stronger than what we're experiencing in the Qs, because the Qs is tech heavy. We got the likes of NVDA, Google is relatively weak today, and I haven't gone through the Mag 7 there, Sharif, yet. So let's do that. Amazon, my guy. Let's see what we got going on, hovering around the volume weighted average price. Quite a choppy mess that we're seeing in Amazon. But then we want to look at number 2, and that is going to be Microsoft, as it is weak today, trading from a high of around 497, we'll call it 498 flat, to a low of around 491.
All right, guys, level up your trading game with Prop XP. You get up to 1 to 200 leverage and a static drawdown. Scroll their site and pick your challenge at propxp.com. You trade directly on their platform. You sign up, you try it for free, and you start your trading journey. You also get to enjoy rapid payouts and real human support, not these bots. Rated 4.6 stars on Trustpilot, trusted by traders worldwide. Right now, you get 50% off, guys, 50% off with code TraderTV. The link is in the description, so be the trader, get funded, and join Prop XP today. Prop XP, your edge starts here, propxp.com. Did I say Prop XP?
Ooh, say it one more
I think
time.
I did. So shout out to Prop XP. I'm sorry. All right. We're having a good time today. It's been a fantastic day. It's humid AF outside, but you know that we'll just have to take that. You know, it's not my. It's humid and cloudy, bro. Like, come on, no, Joseph.
You know what I've been noticing here?
What did you notice?
It's living in the city.
Shiny.
It just blocks so much of the sun, and it's frustrating. So to find a solid patio, you either got to go on the rooftop or you got to maneuver around how the sun.
Well, absolutely. Well, that problem is for people like yourself who live downtown.
Yes.
That's not an issue for people who live midtown, or as Katina Man says, uptown.
Uptown.
So. No, but that was my issue with California, especially when you go to SoCal, like where my sister lives in OC. There's no high rises in OC,
beautiful.
so you're completely exposed all the time.
You're just cooking.
And it's the same thing as here. Like the sun can be completely no overcast, but there you don't have the protection of buildings and stuff like that. So I'm not a big fan. I need a little protection here and there, Joseph.
I see what you're getting at. One more thing before we send it back to you, Sharif. XLF is selling aggressively, and with that, oops, why can't I spell? SPY, yeah, it's not that difficult. It's a 3-letter word, okay. So, is there gonna be a continuation on the short here in NVDA? I think we might get the ability to grab this trade. You can see there is some resistance right here, but I'm more or less looking for indecision anywhere around the volume weighted average price. And then a continuation to the downside. And then someone in the chat asked me about a married put. I'm like, what is that? Is it collared? Anyways, I had to obviously just look it up. So essentially what it is, just to refresh my memory, is that when you're long stock, you just buy a put as well too. So it's just like it's kind of like a hedge against your position.
Is it the options wheel?
No, it's not the wheel.
Okay.
So it's like you're long stock, but you buy a put. So you're essentially short as well.
So it's a hedge?
Yeah, it's a hedge against your position, essentially. So
Okay.
Basic stuff, I don't usually do that. I don't collar any positions or anything like that.
Isn't what options were for in the future, in reality, or like initially anyway, as hedges?
Yeah,
futures and options, were they not?
Yeah, absolutely. You just use options more or less just as hedges, but then there's so many ways you can utilize the contracts.
There you go, right?
So, yeah, but mainly used for hedging when you get into options writing. And then for an example, like the individual in the chat just asked me about a married put, that's essentially a hedge against your position. So it's like, okay, I'm long NVDA shares, but then I want to buy a put because I think there's going to be some short-term duration.
Yeah,
so whatever you lose in appreciation from your stock, you gain an appreciation with that put.
Yeah,
so it essentially
hedge.
balances off, exactly. So just a basic hedge. And that's what I was referring to in the post market. That's how essentially you lock in, you lock in profits. It's almost the inverse of that. You're long the contracts, but if you want to lock in that profit, you sell the shares, right? So kind of the same thing, and that locks you into that price. So yeah, thank you for that mention.
Can I just look at something?
Yeah, go ahead
George?
and cover that there. Sure.
He wants to look at Circle. So here it is. Circle obviously has been very in the news lately. Today, no different. What the hell is this? What just happened here? Adara, any idea what the hell is going on with Circle here?
No, I saw it, but I have no.
What the hell is this? It just popped up from 182 seconds ago. Now it's at 189. So that's a flat top breakout there through 185. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks really technical. Somebody's been watching it today. It
does.
looks incredibly technical, just like a 185 breakout.
185 flat top break. Yeah.
As Sean mentioned earlier, that's also the pre-market high, but I have no news on it, so I can't comment further.
Well, that's well above the pre-market high now, but yeah, you're absolutely right. 185 flat top break, and we saw that ascending wedge. Fantastic look there, my man. I personally don't like this open print because it loses the volume weighted average price, but these subsequent retracements, look at that. They both held up at VWAP, all the while maintaining that 185 top. It looks like somebody got blown out there through the 185, and it did squeeze almost to 190. 189.87 is the current high a day, and that's the print that we're actually seeing right now on the current 5-minute candle. Be on the lookout, though, for 192. That was the top yesterday. It was the implied balance high, as well, the implied balance high, as well as essentially the high a day, 192 on the dot. So if we do squeeze above 190, be on the lookout. I'm not saying it's going to sell off, but be on the lookout for a possible 192 seller, at least initially, before maybe we get through that level. Circle is in the news today. They do have their own catalyst, obviously. They are looking at tokenizing a lot. We'll get to it when I do the news shortly, I think maybe in half an hour or so. But they're looking at tokenizing a lot of these equities. So you'll be able to trade these equities on the blockchain, very similar to tokens with almost no commissions. So it's been tried before. My understanding, which is very, very limited understanding, is that the Australian Stock Exchange tried it and then they backed down from it, maybe for some earlier technical challenges. Now maybe the technology is a little bit more developed and mature, so it works this time around. We also have already heard Robinhood doing the same thing, but they're doing it in Europe, likely to get around some of the regulations that they probably would have had to deal with the SEC having done that. Now we've seen, in addition to that there is going to be more regulatory clarity thanks to Senator Tim Scott and Senator Loomis about what qualifies under a token or a commodity and is therefore governed by the CFTC, and what is what's actually called a security, which is governed by the SEC. So I'm sure that will also have a lot to do with the regulatory kind of framework that's developed with this tokenization of stocks, so to speak. So great technology burgeoning. I love how things are changing. And I personally, I don't know how you guys feel on the other side there, but I think it's changing for the better. I happen to like the democratization of the market, so that it's not, just for the top cats. So we'll have to see if that makes any difference there. Before we go to Adara, just want to mention my positions again. We're back into BLMN here at the south of 10. We're looking to take the next print here at around, where were we waiting over here? 15s, then 20s. So we're back into this one. Then DBI, the other one that I've been involved in, we're still holding a piece. There seems to be a seller right now at 81 for whatever reason, and has been that way for a while. Adara LePage.
No, we're gonna go. We're gonna do this. Yeah. Okay. We're gonna do this. Ad read here, quick, guys. We got another behind-the-scenes look at Trade the Pool, but this time we're diving into the community side of Trade the Pool. As you know, each trader gets his or her own hub, and inside one, you'll find Trade Talk, a powerful charting and analysis space where traders map out strategies, break down setups, and share predictions with the community. And if you're looking for real-time interactive, the Trade the Pool Discord is where you get to visit. It's full of active traders sharing insights, trades, and tips to grow together. At Trade the Pool, you're not trading alone. You're joining a firm that invests in your growth, technically, mentally, and financially. Head to tradethepool.com, scan the QR code, or check the screen. Adara, what do you got for us?
BEA on watch, spokesperson for the company, has been saying, according to Reuters, that Boeing does remain committed to its acquisition of Spirit Aerosystems. They're also going to be acquiring Spirit's plant in Belfast, Northern Ireland. Said that taking ownership of this Belfast plant is an outcome they've known was possible for quite some time. So BA here, nothing really crazy, but nice little push to the upside off of lows for Boeing. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara.
Excuse me. Yes. Okay. So this is what I want to talk about Robinhood and just being slightly extended. And this is what I'm referring to. Michael Noss and I were talking about it last night. Michael Noss, Adara and I were talking about it last night. But after this engulfing candle, now look at the volume print, right? So this is extremely important to note. I think that we're extremely overextended on this name. You just blow past through those all-time highs, and then now you can see the volatility starting to pick up. The average true range is starting to expand. So keep that in mind here, guys. If you had the ability to sell at 99.07, then congratulations. I went across the board with all the traders here, and I asked everyone, should I trim or whatever? Obviously, just having a little fun with it. You got to manage your own accounts, but I just want to hear everybody else's opinion, and I think it's a good idea to take a little bit off, because if you do sell all the way up here, here and you get that 10%, 15% retracement, then guess what? You're buying this stock back at 75 or the 80s. It's significantly cheaper than what you actually bought it at. So keep in mind, extended big time here on Robinhood, in my opinion. Can we continue to climb higher? Absolutely. But same thing with the likes of Coin, big time news in the stable coin market, and then boom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big time days to the top side. And within this short span of a week and a half of trading, you almost, that is almost a 50% move right there, guys. So something really, really big. Not quite, I don't know why it's saying that, but anyway. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, it is. So there it is, 51%. And then here you go, you got a nice move on this pullback now, 33%. I think Coinbase is going to continue to climb. Start selling CSPs or anything along those lines if you have the ability to and you have the capital requirements. If you start putting into 320 into some of these prior resistance and support zones, I think you're going to be off pretty good. And if not, then congratulations, you get to keep a little premium on the side and then just roll those contracts over once again. Now, Google. Are we going to short this one more time? Let's see if we retest this trend. I think this is going to be a really big moment. If we come back into that specific area and then we reject the trend line, then you can take an additional leg lower. I don't think it's a positive news catalyst, considering what we've seen in the likes of Anthropic and OpenAI with Apple. That's bad news, and you can see that Apple continued to climb higher, but Google was selling off. We're down only 1% on the day, but at the lows we were down 1.5%. We went on a nice run. This is when we had that cybersecurity breach on Google. I'm just going to zoom out to the daily, and then sure enough, that's when we bought it. Cybersecurity breach. Okay, they get that sorted out. You put that indecision print with some volume in there. You get in at 167, 168, and then you ride that up. And then once you see that exhaustive type candle, then you go into 182 and you say, hey, you know what, Joe? I'm going to take 66% of this position off and leave 20% of a runner. I can add into this, or I can hold this position and wait for it to get into my break even. Whatever I decide, plan the trade, trade the plan. All right. And then Apple. Same thing here, plan the trade, trade the plan. As easy as it may sound, it's significantly more difficult than that, but here it is. We retest this 205 level. I'm going to be getting in via shares. Once the thesis starts working out, we add contract tree.
All right, guys, you guys are asking about what all the noise is. Well, this is it right here. Assassino, are we able? Yeah, there we go. We're going to move it around. So this is the entire build out of Studio 8. Now that wall right there that you guys see the chair leaning up, but that may not be there for much longer. See that black wall? It's going to be kind of, that's going to be one flat wall. Now we can't tell you what's going on there, but there will be some cool stuff. Can we pan a little bit this way? Yeah, there, just so we can kind of show the whole thing. I don't know if the camera goes all the way there like that. Yeah, all right, it doesn't. But yeah, that's the all the noise, guys. So we're calling this whole thing Studio 8. And the guys are nice enough to even be here on Canada Day. Obviously, it's not a stat holiday for you guys, but nobody goes to work today typically. And these guys are some of the hardest working guys around because they're here on Canada Day. So we thank them for that.
They only go to you only go to work on Canada Day when you want to make shmoney, and these guys are doing that.
Shmoney mans. All right, guys. So are we? No, we're not going to Dara, are we? I heard Dara. Okay. All right. So keep your eye here on BMNR. This is the one we were involved in earlier. Be careful here. It's looking like it wants to take out 70. So this did find support right at 60 bucks. In fact, that's not accurate. The closing print was above 60, did wick all the way down to 59 and change, but generally finding support at 60 bucks. That's a level we kept talking about because of that topping tail. But here we go. If we take out 70, I likely think we take out 72s. And if we take out 72s, where the closing prints have had hard time closing ahead of or above, we're going to take out 74.80 here, probably into 75. So BMNR looking like it's working its way back into that $70 area with an umpteen amount of higher lows and higher highs, starting basically around that $60 touch, right around 12.05. So it's been doing higher lows and higher highs now for almost half an hour. So be on the lookout here. This is the strongest name in the market right now, above $1. And, you know, it's been a good one. It's been a good one. So keep your eye out on that one. Couple of good trades on that one the last few days. DBI right back into the high. So 284 showing right now, 285 the high. We still have a couple of profit takers on this one, so we'll wait to see if it can touch 3 or what the situation is. And then last but not least, that other trade that we're involved in here, BLMN, we're back into this one. Initially in at 970, went the beak to 990, back in at 10, went the beak up there almost to mid-teens there, it looks like 15. And then we're keeping an eye on that high day at 1016. Joseph, what's up?
Yeah, Adara, did you? I don't know.
No, I didn't hear it.
You didn't get that. You got to send it to both.
All right.
Oh,
Adara.
okay. Let's go here. Trade review. Food review.
I didn't hear
Trump
it.
is talking right now during his roundtable discussion at Alligator Alcatraz. Right now, questions have not been supermarket related. There have been some questions about the big, beautiful bill. So keep an eye on solar. If I get any news, I will let you know. I'm listening to this conversation from Donald Trump here and this roundtable as we send it back to the Bash Brothers.
Oh, I like that.
one.
Okay,
Yeah,
get it, Adira.
Say with your chest, man.
What do you got over there, Joseph? What are you looking at? my man?
So I was talking with Gorb in the chat here. So you can see that NVDA is slowly starting to climb back towards the volume-weighted average price. So now we want to look for any form of indecision. The volume is slowly starting to stair-step down. That's a positive sign. So if we get an inverted candle or anything along those lines north of the volume-weighted average price, then I'll look for that short back into some of these ranges here. But a lot going on with the screen, as you guys can tell. And yeah, I'm on one side, I'm on the other side. What happened to the...
You don't know where he's going to show up.
You don't know what's ever going to happen. Never let them know your next move. Also, go check that video out on YouTube Shorts there with Trader TV Live. But yeah, that's the game plan, guys. You can see that the tech sector is still relatively weak. And I didn't look at Meta today, actually, because we know that Meta's been on a big-time run, and I'm waiting for Adara to update the... okay, that's not... Adara, from at what point is my pick going to be updated at here? Because... Oh, man, at the lows? No, that's not fair.
So worried about that.
You can't do it at the lows. That's crazy. All right, but anyway.
Why does it even matter, bro?
Sharif,
If you're
Sharif,
printing
Sharif.
IRL, who cares?
Sharif, I care.
Oh, God.
For the record, for the people who went long Tesla, one of whom is Joe, you needed to get to 390s before you're agreeing on that. So either way, you might not like what you see.
No, no, it's okay, though. See, the thing is... Pardon me?
I like what I'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure you will, Katina, man, because you're leading the way. So obviously he's gonna like that. But anyways, what I'm getting at, when we do our picks for next year, best believe I'm not gonna go with any form of acronym or anything like that. I'm going to win this thing.
Okay, bro.
I'm serious.
You're putting way too much stock into this.
I am.
All right, let's talk some real trading now.
That is
All right,
real trading. I don't care. It's real picks.
All right, so
But
let's see what's actually live right now, bro. Let's go. Come on, man. Let's see what's actually moving. All right, so NAIL moved down into the 10 exponential moving average. This one I tried to load up on the system, and it's actually not available on our system, even though it's an ETF and on the Amex network, so I wasn't able to load this one up. I was actually looking possibly for shorts here because this is one of those ones where there's an aggressive buy program that all of a sudden shuts off, and usually there's a nice mean reversion trade to be had here, at least into the volume weighted average price, which at least on my chart showing 59 and a fifth. So be on the lookout. If you guys can trade NAIL here, this one is losing the 10. I'd personally be looking to see whether it could lose the 20 or whether or not the money fills are going to be between, kind of like we've been talking about lately, in between the 10 and the 20. So keep your eye out on this one. Very aggressive move up, but usually when they have this aggressive move up, they have I don't want to say an equally aggressive move down, but usually it does mean revert a little bit. So be on the lookout for that one. BLMN, right back into that high day. I made a mistake on this one by not adding onto that retracement into the 10 EMA. I should have been adding there. I didn't. We'll keep an eye out on that one. And then DBI still possibly back into that 285. There it is, back into the high of the day at 285. This one I think could possibly squeeze to 3 if we can kind of get a little bit of a bid under us. Now the volume profile on this one has been kind of dropping. Full disclosure. So you're not getting that increasing volume profile that would support a possible $3 break. So we'll keep tabs on that and see whether the volume continues to whittle down. CTOR, I feel bad that I didn't execute on this one from one side of the equation, and the other side I don't feel as bad. Couple of reasons for that. One, it's a little lightly traded. So per 5 minute candle, it's got maybe an average here of 25 to 30,000 shares per 5 minute candle. That's not all that much. Second of all, it did lose VWAP. So it wouldn't have been the trade that I would have been gauging for. I would have certainly been looking for support at the volume weighted average price. The other side of the equation is that it's kind of double topping here at around 5 1/5. And so it now comes back into 5. Now, if it holds 5, this is a different trade because then that will be a higher low and it'll be another attempt at the break of 520, which it couldn't do around here at around 1215. So CTOR, I'm not taking this one off the side chart. We're going to leave it on. We're going to see how it does if it sets up in the right way. But we got to get some beak wetters. Oh, and we did on BLMN. Nice trade into that 1016 area. Now we're going to wait at 1020 for the next profit taker. Again, I made a mistake here by not adding on the retracement into the 10 EMA. This one has been very, very respectful of the 10 EMA, and that's all we're doing here. We're trying to put the probability on our sides, and the probability was it was finding support at the 10 EMA. So why, oh why did I not add? Good question. Oh.
What is in this?
I actually don't mind. Yeah, I like soup. Thank you. That's
What is
nice
what
of
is
you.
this though? What is in it?
Looks like that is, what is that? Salmon, and that's cucumber, right? Oh, that looks so good.
I
You want
was
one?
thinking that was crab.
You want one?
I don't know. I might be allergic to shellfish.
Are you for real though?
Yeah.
Are you actually for
I
real?
swear, yeah.
Oh,
I wouldn't lie about
I was
that.
gonna offer you one, brother. You know, I feel bad, you know,
You have to
eating
give
in
it
front
up.
of you and
You have
everything.
to give me.
like that.
Well, don't
no
eat
food.
both of them. Eat one, and then let me know if there's.
You
crab
want to
in
have
it.
your options open? I love it. All right, I'm gonna leave one for you, okay?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be even nicer, and I'm gonna dip
You're
it
gonna
like
rate
that
it.
so that you don't have to get
You can
grossed
double-
out.
you
with
can
the
double dip.
No, I won't double dip. You know, Seinfeld said not to do it.
All right. Then.
Oh yeah. That's good
All right.
stuff.
Give it a rating there. Is there
All right.
Is there crab in there?
Yeah, I wouldn't take the risk.
Yeah, I'm not risking it on here.
I can get you some Benadryl if anything happens.
No, that's okay.
Shoppers across the road.
Yeah, it's close. So I'd be in trouble. There. Yeah.
It's not? Okay, good.
right, there you go.
Katina Man said it's not close. This is actually really good, dude.
Is it?
Can I say something, Ram?
Yeah.
The rice is a little, I don't know, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a little dry. It feels like maybe the rice is a day old kind of thing, maybe. Overcooked. Yeah, that could be part of it. Not too bad.
Oh, actually, what am I getting? I had lobster in Mexico. I
don't know what
can
you're
try
talking
this.
about. Like,
yeah.
how do you not know?
You ready this?
Yeah.
You ready?
No.
Whoa,
Careful. Yeah, it's super sensitive there.
Okay,
There
you ready?
go. All right, I'm ready.
One bite, everybody knows the rules.
All right, Portnoy. There you go. Thoughts? You missed a piece there, my boy.
Mm-hmm.
How's it doing? It's not too bad. It's not the best I've ever had, certainly, but it's not bad.
Pretty good.
You gotta take that piece.
What is it? I don't know. It might be crab though.
What's that? Holy, that thing is for you?
Oh, that was good.
Jeez. I don't know. His last meal
on.
says Brian H.
Hold on.
I don't think so. I think
I'm gonna give it a 7-9.
I said, wow, that's
7-9.
deep. That's very
That's a good
specific.
one, yeah, 7-9.
I'm gonna go ahead and say it's like I'm gonna go ahead and say it's between 6 to 7. Like it's not too. A solid 6.5 says Ram.
6.5 says
All
Ram.
right.
Okay. Maybe I'm overrating.
I
it.
feel like you don't have too much sushi
No, I don't.
experience.
I don't have
though.
any sushi experience.
Well,
so
maybe
that's the
yeah.
thing
Okay.
there.
Well, I kind of get that feeling a little bit.
7-9
But that's
it is.
okay.
7-9.
That's okay.
But that's a 6.5 cent piece of sushi.
I would
for
say
me?
it's around that, yeah, like Mandarin style sushi, like where it's not like niche to them.
All right,
But
hopefully the old,
yeah,
esophagus doesn't swell up.
whole esophagus, this guy, bro.
Uh-oh.
There he is. $100 super if Joe goes down with an allergic reaction. Start faking it, bro.
No, I
Start
can't
faking
fake
it,
that. I
bro.
wouldn't
I'm
fake
just
that,
playing.
man.
Big Spile, you're a joker. We love you, Big Spile, but I don't know why you want him to suffer because I don't think his throat closing and his face turning all poofy. You ever watch Hitch with Will Smith where he he hooks up guys, he
It was
teaches them
with
how to
buddy who was on King of Queens, right?
Yes, I forget his name. Anyway, so he ends up going on. Say it again. Kevin James. Thank you, Katina Man. And so Hitch is like super. He's supposed to be like that slickster.
Yeah, I seen it.
And then he ends up going on a date with Eva Mendes,
Yeah,
right?
and then he actually
eats, I guess, shellfish, and his face
Oh, really?
swells up on a date, and it's like their first date. And that's not a good look. You know?
Sorry, Jeff. I don't know why I did. I didn't mean to do that there.
What up?
My friend. I just been on deleting people's chats for some reason as of late. Just instinctual, I guess. But I didn't.
Well, he's calling me a dork. So
did he? Oh, I didn't
thanks,
even
bro.
see that. Oh, Jeff?
Thanks for watching, though. Because I'm a dork, but you're still watching anyway, baby.
There you go.
So keep watching.
Hate it or love it, the underdog's on top, baby. There we go, Starbucks. A lot of people in the chat wanted to talk about Starbucks. Sharif, a big-time move here that we're experiencing in this name. 4.3% on the day, and essentially hasn't looked back. So are we rotating, out of tech and into some of these secondary names? I like the kind of the breadth that we're seeing in the market. XLB, the material sector being one of the top of the class. XLV, and then you can see that Starbucks is also moving, even though they're not even related to those ones. But Adara, what do you got for us?
I have the TTV picks now. Everyone can rest and relax. They have been updated. And yeah, right now, Sean definitely in the lead here with Palantir. I want to clarify, I do these on principle. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I only update these once a month on the last day of the month as of the closing price on that date. So with that in mind, Palantir would be down a lot more now. Coinbase would be down a lot more now. Boeing, I think, would maybe be impacted. UNH would be actually up a bit more. So for the sake of parity, I do like to update these once a month, and that's why some of these numbers are not going to be quite exact. Tesla would also have gotten hit a lot harder had I done it today. So with that in mind, Sean, you're up 48.76% here on the year, by far the strongest. I am actually the weakest right now. Thank you, UNH, down about 6.5% right now, and total returns here 11.24% for our picks thus far. That is the update that we get once a month, and again, I do it once a month just for the sake of clarity, and so I don't inundate you guys with updates. Back to you.
Still don't know why Brendo only gets 2 picks, though.
Yeah,
He's got to feel the full brunt of like us, man. He's got to get 3, bro.
Watch out for me next year. I'm getting.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm making too much of this, bro.
I like it, bro. I think it's a great idea. I want to win. I don't even care if it's not for anything.
I feel you.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got, Joseph? Anything going on right now?
Google, we want to keep an eye out on what's going on here as we run into VWAP. Are we going to reject this trend line once again? Let's see, we're going to remove this one, and then we're just going to start to draw some new ones. We'll zoom out. We'll actually zoom in on some time frames, and then we'll hop in. But you can see that the trend line is still intact. So until we hold it on the opposite side, then I'm going to look to be shorting into that trend line. Again, one thing to note is that we failed to establish a new low a day on this push. So as long as we don't break this pivot, I think there's going to be another opportunity to get short here on Google. Now, what is the Nasdaq doing? We're starting to run into the volume weighted average price. What do we want to see? Okay, the strength and the genuity within these prints are significantly stronger to the downside. As we start to appreciate in price, you can see the indecision and the weakness, and especially the volume start to cool off as well too. So what are we going to look for? Any form of indecision or an aggressive reject of VWAP there, Shreve. That is my game plan on Google and on the overall market, the Nasdaq TQQs. I'll be using that vehicle.
All right, so a couple of updates here. BLMN is coming in to the, it's back into the 10 exponential. So the move for me here is if it loses that $10 area, we're going to stop out break even. How many outs do I have left on this one? Got one more out on both, on DBI and BLMN. I'm more likely to want to add to DBI at the volume weighted average price based on what I did last time. So 11 o'clock, we got long at 65s. That was a volume weighted average price. And you guys saw what it did, got to 85s. Now it's losing the 20 and it's losing the 10. It is on the way to the volume weighted average price, which on my chart on the moment is 271. So I'm going to keep my eye on that 271 level. And in addition to that being VWAP, you also have initial price action resistance into that 72 area, 71 area. So there could be double the amount of possible support at 71, 72. So I'm going to keep my eye on that one. If it is warranted and I like what I see on the level 2, we'll add into that position. I'm less likely to want to add anything into $10 here. And if this loses $10 on BLMN, we're out. And there we go. So we lose that $10 bid, so we'll get stopped out for the last remaining amount, and this dip trade is no longer valid. I'm going to put my dip trade at 975, probably a little bit higher than that. Reason is, that's where the volume weighted average price is. So if we lose the 20, and we're at the 20 right now, because that level is 996, If we lose at 20, there's really no price action support at all. You're going to have to wait for the volume weighted average price at around 975. So first thing is first. Lose the 20 EMA on the 5, and then we're going to look for that 975, 9 high 70s on BLMN. I'm going to throw out my order right now on DBI for that volume weighted average price retracement, which I see at 71. So true to form, we'll add a little bit ahead of that level. We'll add into 72s to see if we get a front run, because sometimes that trade gets a little bit crowded. So BLMN on the way down, and nail. As I was telling you guys, this one, it looks like it's on the way down. It's already $3 plus off the high, and it's lost the 10, it's lost the 20. This could easily find its way into 59 1/3, where the volume weighted average price is. It could even go deeper, okay? We've seen this story before when there's a buy program on and the buy program shuts off, the shorts take advantage of that and they short it down to an oblivion. So NAIL, not available on our system, but keep your eye on it. If you guys have it on your end, this could be an interesting short to the downside. But again, use proper risk management, whatever that may be, prior bar high, whatever you guys have to do there to manage risk. But keep your eye on NAIL. Daniel T says QBTS. Let's have a look at Quantum. Adara threw Quantum on the watch list today. I don't think there was any specific catalyst on these bad boys, but they've just been strong. Let's have a look at QBTS. Okay, breaking out there, nice. Right above that $15 area, in the 15, it feels like it was a little top heavy at that level. It was above there, obviously, in the pre-market, double top into almost 15.5, and then it used 15 as a bit of a resistance level. You rejected it over here at 1040, yet again at 1105, and then finally you get a decisive break of that $15 level right now on the 1245 candle. 15 1/4 we go. Obviously, we're likely to encounter some resistance at 15.5 should we make it up there. But this is an interesting one. Thanks for Daniel T for pointing out QBTS breaking through that $15 area. Not a bad look whatsoever, and a name that a lot of people look at because Quantum has been in vogue lately. So keep your eye out on that one. I've got nothing else other than the DBI position that we're currently holding, and I'm looking at adding at 72s into 73 it goes. If it does lose VWAP, I will stop out, okay? I'm not gonna dollar cost average into an oblivion, just hoping that it might pop up. If it loses VWAP, we're gonna hold true to form and stop out there. Joseph.
Yeah, good look there, guys. So I'm just running through a scan right now just to see what we got going on from a percentage metric and some other things. HCAT, but I want to see some of the top volume names here as well too, guys. But Tesla has 95 million shares traded on the day, and then Robinhood has 84 million. So that's relatively interesting. Why is Warner Bros put in 49 million shares? Let's take a look at that one there, Street. That's very intriguing, and essentially has done nothing on the day. So there it is, Warner Bros. Putting in 48 million shares and then just trading sideways on the session. Let's zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily. Okay, so Liberation Day lows, you get a nice 54% move on that one. So yeah, I'm not going to be trading that, especially because you can see from that intraday price action, it's not tradable, right? Unless you're selling the tops and buying the lows. But this is what we want to focus on right now. This is a positive sign. Give this a little room. I think if we run into that pre-market high, or that pre-market low, then you just hop out of that trade, or even this specific pivot. I think that's going to be really important. So anything north of VWAP, I think you'll get that continuation. I know Katina Man was short from a specific level here on the TQs, and then maybe you get that curl over, he's going to reload, and then you look for that additional move towards the low of the day. And that's the game plan on that. Well, let's take a look at the open interest in the overall market to see if we can gauge anything and say, hey, this is why we're rejecting at this level. This is why we haven't exceeded this, and this is what can possibly be a base in on the potential underlying. So what was our high on the week there, guys? Around 552.88. What is 552.88 telling us? 552 more or less. Nothing substantial. 55s has more size with only 8,000 current open contracts for this week's expiration cycle. But let's take a look at the put side for a potential bottom. And I'm not seeing anything substantial up until you run into 535. And I don't think that's necessarily going to be the case by the end of the week. I could obviously be wrong, but again, that could be a good floor. Oh, sorry, no, that's volume. So yeah, 540 540 has 10,000 open contracts, so that's okay. So keep an eye out on that for potential range, 55 to 45 in the overall market. Now, you can see NVDA is starting to head back through the volume-weighted average price, but the volume isn't starting to pick up. That's a good indicator. Nice engulfing candle right now, and if we want to put it on a slope, you can still see it is slightly declining there, guys. So any indecision, that's when you zoom in, look at the lower time frames, and then look for that inverted hammer or that cross doji, anything north of this, and that's the game plan on the Qs and on NVDA, Sharif.
All right, guys, you guys are talking about Wolf Speed. Let's have a look at that. It was doing quite well to start the day. Got a nice bid there at the open. Right at the open, it pops up above $1.10. Drops back down, finds a lot of support at 80 pennies, where it had resistance here in the pre-market. Have a look at all these topping tails that go into 80 that couldn't close above 80. So resistance flips to support. Where have we heard that before? Oh, every technical analysis book ever. But alas, we're still south of that dollar, so I'm going to try to stay away from it. I don't like trading these ones that are south of $1. They're just a thickly traded bunch, and they tend to be hard to get good prints on. So I see what you guys are seeing, but I'm going to steer clear away from WOLF. But it's up a respectable 130% on the day. Let me just see if there's a catalyst on this bad boy here. Make sure that, it files for bankruptcy, so naturally, Joseph, it should go up, right? So here's the headline that I'm seeing on my news blotter. Wolf Speed surges 80% as it files for bankruptcy. Silicon Carbide wafer maker said in a statement late Monday that it had filed petitions for reorganization under Chapter 11. It added that it expects to emerge from Chapter 11 by the end of the third quarter. Said it expected to reduce its overall debt by 70% or around $4.6 billion, continuing to operate as usual through the process. Okay, so maybe because they're going to get the Chapter 11 protection now, maybe the market's a little bit bullish on them. Adair.
It has a big short float, too.
Oh, yeah, well, that
70,
certainly
70,
could help, no question about it, yeah. Are we going to Derek? Because I heard her say come to me. Not yet, not yet. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know Donald Trump's taking his last question at the Alligator Alcatraz round table. Then I guess they're going to wind that up and get out of there. So just be aware here. Alligator Alcatraz round table wrapping up here with President Donald Trump. He just said he's taking the last question. Back to you.
Thank you for that. So it's been a little bit of a slow mover on the day, I think. There you go. NVDA is starting to squeeze back up into 155. And then someone in the chat, Stevenson was saying, hey, should I be buying NVDA up here? And I'm like, that's really your call, right? Like for me personally, what I see on a call wall, and I went through the example of just not going all in at once, is just slowly building your position. But just keep in mind is this, right? So if we sit on the back side of that, I'm going to use within this first half an hour range, 45-minute range, in order to determine, okay, this is the downtrend. We've now come back into VWAP. Let's see what happens if we have the ability to get north of this, or we start rejecting around this specific area, all right? So just continue to monitor that, see what's going on, what is the tape, and what is the volume profile telling you? Are we going to be prepared to turn around? If this closes as it is right now, then I will most definitely be looking for a short. So the selling pressure, you get buyers to push it up to 154, and then now sellers are pushing price back down. Any form of indecision on this specific candle or in and around this neck of the woods, then I think that could be a potential good short opportunity. Your risk profile is defined. You can just get out as soon as it breaches it to the top side and give yourself a little bit of room as well too, all right? So keep that in mind. If it gets strong, you can see the strength in the tape really start to pick up as you start to hit the ask, and traders and participants are getting more aggressive. Keep that in mind. But in order for you to get short, you need multiple indicators to come and correlate in your favor. So the weakness starts to step in, you're rejecting the downtrend, and then also the tape starts to pick up, and the volume isn't also starting to accelerate to the top side. So those are my game plans. I'm going to continuously go over them until they either don't work out or we find ourselves a trade there, Sri.
All right, added to the DBI trade, if this loses 70 pennies, we're going to get stopped out, showing 72. That's where my price, well, I added at 74, is it wasn't giving me the 72 add, so I moved up my my entry a skosh. But if it loses VWAP, that's it. And so if it prints 69, that means it's lost VWAP. So we'll see what this one does. Added about like a third of the position that I added initially on this one, so we won't give up too much if it does lose the bid. So DBI added into that bad boy, but I want to show you guys that nail continues to sell aggressively off the top. This is all red now with one only only green candle manifesting there at 12.35 since we put in that top candle at 12.15. So down we go. I was trying to tell you guys that this could be an easy 59 1/3 short off that 63, and we could see more than this. I mean, VWAP may not be the bottom here. It's not available in our system. It's an ETF. It's, what's it called, a builder ETF from the Dow. So NAIL will look like a buy program to the high side into 63.09, now down into 60, was below that momentarily, below that $60 level. BLMN as well. This one lost $10, so we stopped out break even on the remaining amount after the ad there. But here it comes again now, losing the 10, losing the 20, into 987 it goes. I think I'm going to give this one another try at the volume weighted average price. Now, this is a bit of a risk, and here's why I feel that way. There isn't too many interactions between BLMN and the volume weighted average price on the day. So I'm just guessing that it may find support at VWAP. Now, I don't think that's such a bad guess. It's a calculated guess, but there hasn't been any retracements into VWAP, that white line on my chart that says, okay, well, I know that the buyers were stepping in. That algo program that's running on this one seems to buy it every time it works into VWAP. We don't have that on the day, so it's a bit of a risk to see whether or not we get a VWAP bounce on BLMN in the same way that if you're looking to go long on NAIL and you're looking to go long at the volume weighted average price, you don't really have too many interactions between NAIL and VWAP, save and except for this one print over here at 1010. And that was it. So, yeah, kind of a bit of a risk there, keeping my eye still on DBI as it drops below the volume weighted average price momentarily. Seems to be finding some support at 70, but anything below that, we're going to be gone. I'm not going to DCA into this one and then hope for the best and get the worst. So BLMN just pulled in a little bit closer with that candle low now at around 981. I think it behooves me to throw an order out there. I'm going to put it at 77s for a possible dip trade on BLMN. Let's have a look at there. We're going to go small shares on this one because I don't want to give out too much. Let me just have a look over here. We're going to go 77s. And come what may, show me 85s and 86s right now on the bid. Oh, I think we got a super chat. Michael Webster, my man. Can you guys take a look at Wolf? I literally just looked at it, Michael. You just rewind like maybe 2 minutes or something like that. I just went through the entire thing on WOLF. If you have that feature on YouTube, you should be able to do that no problem. Thank you for the super chat very much. $2 buy. Michael Webster.
Yeah, I used to know a Michael Webster. I wonder, are you Canadian?
I don't know. Go Bills. You need a bottle of Trump's new fragrance. Only $249 a bottle. Okay, I don't even want to ask. What is it called? Someone let me know what is it called? Yo, Adara's going to look it up. I just know this is going to be funny. We'll wait and see what we get from Adara on that one. Did you see all of his, remember his trading cards? And
who's? Trump's, no.
They're fantastic. And he was like selling them during the, what's it called, the election. Go ahead, Dara.
Trading.
So I'll read you guys the release. Apparently they, and much like if you've seen how Donald Trump posts his Truth Socials, is actually kind of written pretty similarly in terms of capitalization in unique places. So these are the only official fragrances, capital F, by President Trump. The website is called GetTrumpFragrances.com. That is the name of the website. It looks like the fragrances themselves are called Trump fragrances. One of the bottles is called Victory 4745, a reference to his 2 terms as president, and that one is $249. And so there's some other titles. Yeah, Victory Cologne apparently already sold out. I'm just reading as I talk to you guys. Victory 4745 seems to be like the main one here, though, Sharif.
I don't know what to say to that.
Which one you getting? Which one you getting?
I don't know, Joseph. At $249 a bottle? Buy 2, you save $100.
Is that the?
I gotta smell them first. I mean, you can't really answer that.
I know someone in the chat who would be buying those.
Was that right?
Yeah, it's that one individual's name who's that all Trump forefather God.
Yeah, he probably he was buying the trading cards.
That guy's
sure.
buying the trading cards. Right. There, what do you got for us?
I hear an RUM go. This one just got a little bit of a pop. We know this is one that is kind of carefully watched by retail investors. Just a minute ago, we had I think the CEO here, Chris Pavlovsky, posting on X that their Rumble ads has undergone a major update from a UI campaign creation change to intelligent targeting. So basically, they're working now on some intelligent targeting on their extended network. Keep an eye here on RUM announcing some new updates. Back to you.
Why are you laughing over there? It's just giggler. Well, I'm assuming the fight thing was from when he got shot, right? So, because remember, that's what he was yelling. All right, guys, waiting for this DBI trade to either stop out or pop back up. We're long at 72s. If it loses 70 and print 69, I'm out. It has been lower lows and lower highs ever since that not topping tail, that doji candle at 1235. It's now 103, and we've been putting in lower lows and lower highs since that time. So if it loses VWAP, that's the end of the trade on DBI, and we'll give back a little bit, obviously, having added into that position. Keeping an eye on that. Are you buying your alligator Alcatraz merch, says Mike James. I don't think I'm going to be buying any merch, man. I didn't buy any of the trading cards. I didn't buy Trump coin. I didn't buy anything like that. They're just not my thing. I'm not looking for any, any souvenirs from this administration. I'm just happy to be part of it, be watching every day, and get to trade the volatility. It's a lot of fun, and obviously Donald Trump makes these markets move. No question about it. So that is good enough for me.
Did you see your favorite public transit system is opening up a merchandise store?
The TTC?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Remember that? You see Drake wearing that old TTC, that purple like Auburn?
No, I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's in one of his music videos. And then
really?
like the people that actually owned the jacket, which was like extinct from like 20 years, started selling it on Marketplace for like $1,000.
Way.
Yeah, it was insane. It made no sense.
Crazy.
Everything was fine.
There's
your guy in the chat, man.
Yeah, God Emperor Forefather Trump himself. Yeah, that's what I said.
He's buying it, baby. He's punching long. I love it. Shout out
to him.
What do you got, Joe?
Yeah, I'm looking at Amazon. I know a lot of people in the chat have been mentioning Amazon. So yeah, I mean, the thing is though, you got to take into consideration it's slightly choppy, right? Like I don't see anything breakout-esque. You really want to see that volume start to pick up. And then when you punch through some of these zones, that's when you can really look for a trade. Or you want to get the lower end of the range, right? You don't want to be buying the tops here with the anticipation that we're going to get a breakout, especially with how the overall market has been trading. So, yeah, just looking at that, this is the support level right at 218.61. And then here it is, the resistance, we'll call it right around this neck of the woods, 220. Yeah, we may be sitting on the top. But one thing to note is that the volume isn't picking up. And if you want to hold this, if you want this breakout to be sustained, then you want to see that continuously gradually get larger and larger and the strength start to pick up on the tape and on the volume profile. So keep an eye out on that. And then we also have the likes of NVDA starting to reject this level. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that just yet, but I've seen some pullback here, but if it cracks that, sits on the back end of this, then you might get that continuation. And Gorev has been long from the lows there, so now you're north of VWAP. So really nice look. The Qs are starting to recover as well too, Sharif, so I'm keeping my eye on that one. And I know someone in the chat was mentioning, saying, hey, IBIT, Joe, I told you to short it. Well, I did take an attempt on IBIT earlier in the day. It just didn't work out for me. And Google, I told you guys I just wanted to hyper-focus on what we had with Google. And there it was. I was essentially short from the top. It just wicked me out. I didn't give it enough room, and then sure enough, you get that flush right after. But that's okay, because I was like, let me hyper-focus on a name that I think I have some more conviction with it.
Dang.
And that's going to be in the likes of Google. So you can see we enter the trade, indecision print up here, rejects of the pre-market low, you get that move, you don't crack through the resistance zone here, and then that's going to give you the opportunity to add. And then as soon as it comes back to our break-even, Sharif, we get out of the trade, and Google is slowly starting to climb back. At one point, at the trough of the session, we were down 1.5%, so a nice 1% gain here on Google. We're only down 0.5% on the day.
I like it. All right, we're going to do the news. Anything you want to do before we jump in the news?
We'll hop in on the news train.
All right, just before we do, I got something here. BMNR is coming down aggressively. BMNR, here it comes. So there was buying initially at 59. We've talked about this level before because of this level over here, this this price action high right into 58.59. It found support initially, but look what it did. Since it found that support, lower highs and lower lows. So how many times do we get a retracement into this level before it gives up the ghost? Be on the lookout here. BMNR headed down quite aggressively. This one it's been good. It's been good. I mean, can't say anything bad about this. It's been a couple of days that it's been running, but certainly off the highs on the day. Careful trading this one, guys. It moves dollars at a time with a $3 banger on this one, quick as you like. And from quickly, it can take $3 from you. You can take from it. It can take from you is what I'm trying to say there, okay? So be on the lookout. Now, I'm 1 penny away from getting stopped out here on DBI as it's got 2 candles that have closed below the volume weighted average price. So 69 gets me out of this trade. And then just before we go to the news, I still have this dip trade here at 77s waiting on BLMN. It seems, though, to have found support at the low 80s, 81 or 82. And in fact, the current candle right now, which is a doji candle, actually made a new high. So I'm keeping my eye on this one. I don't mind adding or getting back in, into BLMN, but I'd like it to be at my level. VWAP showing me 76s. I'm waiting at 77s. Maybe I should move up my order and take it in the low 80s. So that's what I'm looking at right now. And then now we'll start the news and talk about what's moving these markets on the day. Here we go, baby. Start off with Robinhood. This one has been an absolute monster as of late. Joseph's got a banger trade on this one. We're going to show out Joby Options for that. Fantastic look there, Joey, on Robinhood. But today it's a little bit of a different reason why we're moving up. So Robinhood will launch tokenized versions of over 200 U.S. stocks and ETFs, but it's going to be for European investors starting June 30th. It already started. Investors can trade tokenized shares of major U.S. companies like your Apples, your Teslas, your Nvidias, all with zero commission because it's running on the blockchain, right? So these digital assets will be on a blockchain ledger, aiming, at least the idea here is to lower costs and increase access to U.S. markets abroad. Robinhood plans to tokenize shares also of privately owned companies. How many times have we talked about wanting to be in an OpenAI, wanting to be in a SpaceX or many others like Stripe, for example? And that's what they're going to be offering you here, which I think will raise some regulatory issues, but we'll have to see, let the regulators deal with that. Tokens will be available for eligible European customers, Joseph, starting this summer. They're building their own blockchain in order to handle this. So you got to love that because it's probably going to be transferable and you can use it for other things. The company will launch crypto perpetual futures as well for Bitcoin and ETH by the late summer. European users will be able to trade perpetual contracts with up to 3 times leverage. Now, this is all Europe, right? But you got to assume that this is the first step before it finds its way into North America. Canada is often looked at as kind of an experimental grounds. We had a Bitcoin ETF way before you guys had a Bitcoin ETF. The reason it wasn't thickly traded because the volume was crap, and a lot of people don't know about it. Robinhood to begin offering crypto staking as well, Joseph, for ETH and Solana in the U.S. Users can earn rewards by pledging crypto to support transaction validation. The move comes as rivals like Kraken scale back staking due to SEC enforcement under the previous administration. Anything you got, Joe?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think the tokenization of a lot of these names is going to be really big. That's also going to lead into the 24-hour trading. I think that's going to be the objective, make it significantly easier. But also the tokenization of these names essentially eliminates the settlement period because when you buy something, you officially don't own it for I think it's about 3 trading sessions. But now with the tokenization, you own it instantly.
Yeah, why do we still have that T+2, T+3?
I don't even know.
Better technology than that. In any event, let's go on. So that's Robinhood there. And then obviously the issue that's got Tesla, well, maybe not the only reason that it's down 4 1/3, but Trump and Musk. The feud has reignited. All right, so what happened? So Elon, Trump reignited a public clash with Elon suggesting that DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, which Elon spearheading initially, could actually investigate the subsidies that some of Elon Musk's companies are getting to quote unquote save money. The feud comes after Musk criticized the big beautiful bill and vowed to politically unseat lawmakers who support it. You guys know what the primary is. Obviously, it's your country. And he's looking at basically supporting the opponents or the competitors for the incumbents in the next primary. Trump suggested that Musk received more subsidy than any human being in history and implied that without federal help, Musk's businesses could collapse. Tesla's ability to mass produce robotaxis could also be implicated by regulatory decisions from the Department of Transportation. And SpaceX has a light contract amount there with the U.S., Joseph, about $22 billion in federal contracts, which could also face scrutiny there. Not a good issue. Musk escalated his rhetoric over the weekend, calling the bill utterly insane and predicting political consequences for its supporters. He threatened to primary challenges in 2026 and mocked the current system as Porky Pig Party, reigniting calls for a new political party. Yeah, he's got away with words there. So a bit of an issue, obviously, as we had seen this in June. Look, you gotta appreciate how Musk sticks to his guns, and quite frankly, you know, what do you think this says about both guys, aside from the obvious? That
you can easily kind of mess with them mentally, in my opinion.
Fair. Okay, that's one. Do you have a more positive view, or is it just negative?
No, I wouldn't say I have a negative. I mean, I wouldn't say that's necessarily negative. The fact that they can easily be positive. I mean, good on Elon. I mean, he's going to continue doing what he wants to do. I mentioned before how, from a scale standpoint, I think they have the ability to outpace Waymo in autonomy. But as for what Trump's doing, he's too unpredictable. I don't know. One day he's happy, the next day he's not. So I don't know. I can't really say too much about
what
that.
What I kind of took from this was, it seems like even if I throw money your way, like I feel like nobody, it's hard to buy Donald Trump. Even if you throw money his way,
you can't buy
he'll flip the script on you. And same with Elon. He spent a bunch of money behind Donald Trump, and all of a sudden he's like, look, man, you know, now I disagree with you politically. So it's like, you're with me today if you're doing what I like, but you're not with me tomorrow if I kind of don't like what you're doing, which is kind of good and bad.
Who was he beefing with at that one time when they're saying they were offering him money or something for advertising?
Yeah,
I think it was, and he said, "I bleep." He's like,
That was the CNBC interview with David Faber.
It was a different one. I think it was with Sorkin. I think at the time. It
That's
was
the
with
DealBook
Sorkin.
conference.
Yeah. So it was with Sorkin.
Yeah.
He was with Sorkin. He's like, "You're trying to blackmail me with money?" Like,
I did say that to Faber. He probably said that on 2 occasions.
He's like, "You're trying to blackmail me with money? Like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't care." Like, I don't care. So he's like, "Oh no, that was the one he said, go bleep yourself."
Yeah.
He said,
He was talking to Bob Iger.
Yeah.
And hi, Bob.
That was at the
That was
Bob.
DealBook.
That was exactly.
I think the other one with the tried to offer me money, that was David Faber.
I don't care was with David Faber, but go bleep yourself was with Sorkin.
Gotta love it. All right, so each guy super mercurial.
Are we still on thing? On Tesla?
We can be.
With Tesla. Guys, tomorrow, make sure you tune in. I forget what that. I think at 12:30, we're going to have something big, some on-the-ground stuff coming straight from Austin about the autonomy. So, guys, make sure you tune in for that quick interview. It's going to be very interesting on how the autonomy landscape in Austin, Texas, the front lines of this whole EV race and autonomy race.
And this is Joseph's friend, by the way, who's actually in Austin, who's been nice enough to come in and talk about this. Obviously, it's super important with the robotaxi launch, and he gets a first-hand view.
Exactly.
So appreciate that, Joseph, for organizing it, my man. Appreciate that. All right, guys, let's do talk a little Apple here. So Apple in early discussions with Anthropic and OpenAI to use their large language models for a revamped Siri voice assistant, being reported here by Bloomberg. The tech giant is asking them to adapt their LLMs to run on Apple's cloud for testing. No final decision has been made as to which provider it will be. Talks are said to be still in the exploratory stages. Apple previously announced that Siri's AI enhancements are going to be delayed to 26 with no specific reason given. We know why it doesn't work. This has triggered, obviously, an internal shakeup with heads rolling in the AI department and now Mike Rockwell taking over Siri development amid reports of dissatisfaction with prior leadership. Craig Federici announced plans to make Apple's internal AI models accessible to developers. So now they're looking at it from a customer, from the retail side, as well as from the development side. That I can appreciate. Apple may also offer OpenAI's completion tools with its Xcode developer software, creating a dual ecosystem here of proprietary and third-party AI. We'll have to see how that all works out there. So Apple still up on the day, about 1.25%. Anything on that one, Joseph?
Well, I mean, Sharif, I don't know how much more I can say about what other than what was going on yesterday. It only took a little spark, right? We talked about the previous largest acquisition of Apple was Beats by Dre for just under $4 billion. Now, Anthropic has a valuation of around $14 billion. Are they going to have a complete stake in that? No, I don't think so. But they have the cash. They've been lagging. They see in the likes of Mark Zuckerberg starting to grab talent pools around him in the likes of Scale AI and Alexander Wang. Do you think Tim Cook and company start to do the same thing?
I think if they do, you're not going to hear about it in the way that you hear about with Zuck and stuff like that. They seem to be very super surreptitious, very undercover with how they do things. We'll see. We'll see. You don't hear too much about, you know, Apple's hires and stuff like that. Yeah, not that I've been seeing.
What's a buddy's name who's working with Sam Altman now?
Alexander Wang? No, sorry. Something. That's the designer, the Apple designer.
Yeah, you know who I'm
forget his name.
It's relatively close to Dan Ives.
Yeah,
something something like that.
Adara, are you here? Oh yeah. Oh. What's that guy that moved from? He was with Apple, now he's with OpenAI for the design. Johnny Ives. Thank you, Adara. Thank you, Adara.
Not Danny Ives, Johnny Ives.
Yeah, close. You were right.
Close, right? So, there you go.
And no S, just Ive, Johnny Ives.
Johnny Ives.
All right. Let's. So we got a $10 super chat here. You want to cover it?
Sure. Yo, boys. GC on the GJ on the show at Obi. What are your thoughts on SPY triple top? I don't know what GJ on the show means. Do you know what that means?
I don't.
Oh, good job. Thanks. That one blew past us there. Yeah, triple top possibly. Thank you for that. Very much appreciated. Obi, this one's more or less directed at Obi, but he's unfortunately not on right now. So there it is. Triple top. I don't see the triple, but I'm seeing a double, Sharif. I don't know how you feel about that one. Multiple touches at 618 right there. So double top definitely coming into play.
Yeah, you got it right. You got it right there, man.
So thank you, Joshua.
Thank you very much
for that
Joshua.
10, and good job. I guess I gotta be on more social media because I didn't.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Adair, what do you got for us?
What I have here is Zillow, Zed, apparently Axios reporting that real estate brokers are happy with a provision in Donald Trump's big beautiful bill, which actually could allow some homeowners to have tax breaks should the bill pass. Zed, nice little push here to the upside. Back to you.
Hey, thank you for that, Adara. Let's go on to Palantir here, positioning itself as a possible next AWS. So Palantir is marketing its Foundry program as the ideal infrastructure to build the next AWS. In a tweet, global head of commercial Ted Mabry urged startups to build it on Palantir rather than compete. Positioning the platform as a launch pad for complex AI applications. Palantir itself, though, actually uses AWS and, in fact, runs on AWS. So viewing the tech stack more as complementary rather than competitive. It's an interesting look there. The pitch, it came in response to a founder who cited major obstacles in enterprise AI, including long sales cycles, complex integrations, costly scaling. So Marbury claimed Palantirs are already overcome a lot of these issues that founders are having to deal with through years of deep specialization, enabling what he calls faster deployment and lower friction. So not a bad look at all for Palantir. I don't know what it's up, if it's up or down on the day, but an interesting down 5%, Katina man, but still a very good way to kind of pitch your AIP platform there as a possible, you know, a cloud provider that you can build anything or you can build software on. Joseph, any comments on Palantir?
Sorry, I just had a technical issue here. Palantir,
going,
we know Palantir is a beast, but yeah, I don't know what happened to my platform. I was trying to do something, and then there we go. I just had to reboot it.
Take your time.
Yeah. I mean, we like Palantir from a technical standpoint. Is it slightly overbought? I think so, especially with the likes of Robinhood as well too. If you want to, this thing has been on an absolute monster move, considering from those Liberation Day lows is what I'm trying to get at here, and just referencing from a technical standpoint, like look at this, a low of 66, and then now we're trading over 100% from where we're at right now. So a big time move on Palantir from the trough here to that peak. It's so embarrassing. Thank you. 120% right there. So yeah, you can't go wrong with Palantir. I think a lot's down the pipeline, and we all know what kind of person Alex Karp is.
Absolutely. Well said, Joseph. Circle next on the list here, guys. So Circle has applied to the Office of the Comptroller of Currency for a National Trust Bank Charter. If approved, Circle will establish the first national digital currency bank, that's what they want to call it, focused on regulated digital finance. The charter would actually enable Circle to offer custody services to institutional clients for tokenized assets like both stocks and bonds on-chain. Despite the charter push, though, Circle does not plan at all to alter how it manages USDC, which is a stablecoin that it issues, which remain held at major traditional banks. A federally regulated charter would help Circle align with new federal stablecoin requirements, strengthening that regulatory credibility. And Anchorage Digital remains the only crypto firm with an existing national charter, placing Circle in rare company if approved. So you gotta like how Circle's thinking about this. We kind of talked about this. Offering these traditional assets that are securities on the blockchain. When we talked about Robinhood, they're doing it out in Europe. Looks like, they're trying to, Circle that is, trying to take the bank path in the United States to be able to do the same thing. So we're going to see what they do here. But not a bad look for Circle. It's been selling off a little bit lately.
Yeah, but this, and I talked to you about this before, this stablecoin, and that's what it is. It's essentially a revolution. You're seeing mass adoption of these stablecoins in USDC and USDT. And then I also showed you this graph here earlier as well too, Sharif. So this is the stats behind stablecoins essentially right here. All right. So settled on the chain in 2024, $33 trillion.
Crazy.
In T-bills financed by USDT and USDC, $152 billion. Who's the primary holder of USDC? Circle.
Circle, yeah.
Exactly. Outstanding supply, $253 billion. But I think what is really important when we're looking at growth cycles and we're looking for kind of that expansion is buyer-to-buyer transaction growth from 23 to 25 is 30 times higher, and I think that's going to continue to grow.
Very interesting. So you're bullish.
I think how could you not?
Yeah, exactly.
Because from an international standpoint, I think it's the way to go because substantially less cost.
We've talked about this. We've talked about all the good tailwinds that come in with that.
Makes it significantly easier than what it. And I'm surprised. We're sitting in 2025, and you have to go to Western Union to send some money to your family.
You can tell that's just dying to be disrupted.
It's dying to
Absolutely, be disrupted. I agree with that 100%. Joby soars on Middle East air taxi progress. I happen to love this headline. Joby completed piloted tests and delivered its first aircraft to the UAE. It's targeting a 2026 launch for air taxi service in Dubai through a previously announced agreement with the Dubai Roads and Transport Authority. It holds the exclusive rights for air taxi operations in Dubai for 6 whole years. Derek, just give me 1 second. Is it breaking news? Go ahead.
Mention here GEV with actually some nuclear news. Apparently, GEV, Renova, Hitachi Nuclear Energy, and Fordham are signing an early works agreement to advance potential deployment of the BWRX 300 small modular reactor. So keep an eye on NNE, keep an eye on SMR, keep an eye as well here on Oklo. Any of these nuclear plays could be on watch. GEV, Hitachi, and Fordham signing an early works agreement to advance the potential deployment of a small modular reactor. Back to you.
SMRs, baby.
Yeah.
SMRs. Ontario's building them hand over fist.
That's good.
Yeah.
At least we're doing something,
your
right?
boy Big Dougie wanted to power all the energy we're going to need to extract all those resources from the Ring of Fire up in Sudbury. And so he's been building up a storm. It started in the north of Ontario.
Yep.
Hopefully it weasels its way down south. Reason is it's scalable, Joseph. You can start with a couple of reactors, and then you can add. Right, you can add as many as you want to meet the energy needs you need.
I'm sure your guy, Mr. Carney, is going to start liking that.
Oh, carbon tax is all over that. And I feel bad even calling him carbon tax.
Right? You got to take that back.
Yeah, no,
right?
I'm very pro Carney.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
He's doing excellent.
I said this
Didn't
before.
vote for him.
I like, yeah, exactly, same.
Yeah.
I just like the fact that you're not going to get that kind of social figure, right? You're not going to get that
He's
individual.
not talking about that at all.
He's not. He's like, yeah, you know what? I just got work to do. I'm not going to be on Truth Social. I'm not going to be on X. You're not going to see me.
He doesn't want to be that.
Exactly. Yeah. He doesn't want to be that.
He's a banker,
and I like
bro.
that quite. I think Canadians like that as well too.
Canadian sensibility.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about this Joby headline. Sorry to cut that off. Joby is constructing its first vertiport. Yes, there's something called a vertiport, but they're still making it at the airport. So with 3 more coming to the Palms Jumeirah, downtown Dubai, and Marina. So they're going to have 3 different areas where you can take off vertically and land. Also signed a 2024 agreement with 3 Abu Dhabi government departments to expand regional presence. So if you guys know how UAE is, in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, same country, very close together. Earlier in June, the Saudi Arabia committed $1 billion for 300 eVTOLs. The firm was an early Joby backer, participating in the company's Series C round. And U.S. President Donald Trump, we already know, signed an executive order in June supporting pilot programs for these electrical air taxis. So not a bad look for Joby. I happen to like this industry. We'll see, if it can actually generate money and whether it can be a sustainable business, but very nascent, very early. Joseph, any comment on this?
No, yeah, I think it's just the growth of I guess the human society, right? We're on the ground. We have a 2D transportation system. I think it's time to go 3D, and maybe eVTOLs can help that as well.
Sign me up, bro. Where are these eVTOLs?
It's either like tunnels, it's something, right? We can't just continuously stay in this 2-dimensional kind of transportation system. We need to either go up or down.
There you go. Yeah, I know, right?
There's
too much traffic down here.
Too much traffic everywhere, man.
All right.
This
Amazon headline is kind of a nothing burger. So let's go on to Chinese EV makers, guys.
Oh, yeah.
They all of them reported deliveries today, and they were all good except NIO. Even though NIO's is still, not too bad. NIO delivered about a little bit less than 25,000 vehicles, which was up from the 21,000 they delivered, but below the estimates of 26. So, I mean, they missed by 75 cars. Let's calm down here, right? The guidance was for 26. They delivered, about 1,075 cars. Calm down, Sharif. XPeng delivered the best of the bunch and has been the best looking chart of the bunch, no question about it. XPeng delivered about a little bit less than 35,000 vehicles, which tripled from that same time last year when they delivered about 10,700. That was last June. They beat guidance easily. Li Auto, the last of the bunch here, reported about 36,300 deliveries, which was down from the previous month, but beat expectations. I'm assuming it was down from the previous month because a lot of people bought that MPV, which is their first fully electrical vehicle. If you understand about Li Auto, you know exactly that it is not a hybrid, but these onboard gas engines charge the batteries, so you get that full EV experience where you're going to get the torque immediately. It's not like a gas-powered engine in field. BYD, though, the real king of the Chinese EVs, delivered 377,628 passenger vehicles, of which 206,900, give or take, were all electric. They're growing big in Brazil, says Assassino. I happen to know that, brother. They're growing big in the Middle East as well. And Assassino, believe it or not, they're now outselling Tesla in Europe.
Yes.
So these Europeans are looking more to these Chinese EVs than they are American. And that is something that Tesla does need to be worried about. For Q2, BYD reported, so this is Q2, not just June. Q2, 1.13 million vehicles, of which 606,000 were fully electric, likely topping Tesla's 385,000, which we're going to get any day now. We still haven't gotten Tesla's Q2. And year over year, BYD's June deliveries are up from 340,000. That's 606 compared to that 340. So BYD continues to take the cake. They're doing it live. They're doing it well.
They're doing it real
and
live.
We'll have to see, man, how long this goes on for. But BYD, geez Louise, bro. Lucy Rott says BYD's trash in Brazil. We hate it. Waste of money.
Wow.
Look,
Okay.
your comment got hidden by Streamlabs, but I think that's a fair comment. It's your opinion. You don't like it. I respect that. But, the market seems to think a little bit differently than you because, well, they're buying the cars, right? So we'll have to wait and see, whether or not that's sustainable, Joseph. But BYD, holy cow.
Yeah. I mean, with BYD, we're just seeing that growth, especially over the past couple of years. It went exponential. We're at the point where they're selling more cars than Tesla in multiple regions.
Easily.
Yeah. So just watch out. People want that cheaper alternative. I mean, Tesla, I'm sure, is a fantastic vehicle. You can ask Katina, man. But if people have the ability to pay 10, 15 grand for a brand new car, I think they're going to do it. So
you know what a lot of people are doing? They're bringing them in through Mexico.
Yeah.
And then they're registering the car in the United States. So it's like if you were to buy, let's just say a regular Nissan in Mexico, and then you want to register it in the US, there's a bit of a transfer. So that's the one way to dodge the 100% tariff. So you register it, so it's a registered car in Mexico, and then you re-register it in the United States, say that you're moving, which is kind of a catch-22. The only issue with that, Joseph, if you have issues with the car, no BYD dealerships in the States. You got to go down south.
You got to be mechanically inclined, or
I wouldn't even touch it.
to fix it. But good thing it doesn't have too many components, right? It's electric.
Well said.
So just a battery.
Well said. Yeah, but you know how these
There's
electronic
other things
systems
exactly too, right?
Someone in the chat here was saying Desvolt, BYD in Mexico has a lot of issues. It's great to get these feedback points from you guys, because to us, the only thing we read about these Chinese EVs, or the only thing that we know, is from what we read. We don't actually have any firsthand experience with any of these Chinese EVs. Now, that said, a lot of these American kind of car reviewers, social media car people, I'm talking about Doug DeMoro's, I'm talking about some others as well. Forrest, I think one of his name is something Forrest, I forget his name. They're super bullish on these Chinese EVs, especially the price points. And the thing is, the Chinese EVs are not copying American designs. They're now leading in the designs, whether or not they have, you know, the longevity of where the car needs to be so they break down easy or what. We'll have to wait and see. But the design components, what's included in the cars, is just superior to anything that we're getting here, and especially the price point. So I feel like we rightly should be protecting our companies. Now, if you look at it from a completely capitalist perspective, this is not the right thing to do, because competition benefits the consumer, right? But we gotta also look at the jobs that employ a lot of these people, and those make up.
Absolutely.
Anything you got? Because I'm gonna.
No, continue there.
No, because I'm done the news.
Oh, you're done the news? Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure at the market, a lot of interesting stuff, guys. And I told you, stick tuned tomorrow. We're gonna be talking some more EVs, what's going on with Austin, in Austin, I should say, etc. So yeah, be sure to. Okay, well the gear-driven garage. That's not very nice to say now, is it? Now I'm gonna have to put you on timeout because we don't accept that type of language around here. But yeah, here it is, guys. We're short the Qs right below the volume-weighted average price. Let's see if we can get this continued move down. We are getting a bounce back in NVDA. Google's bouncing back, and that's what I'm saying. When you're shorting the Qs, you got to look at the space around you. So what is Meta up to? Put in a weak day today, relatively weak, and looking like it wants to continue to climb lower. So there it is on META. Let's pull it up and see what we have from a percentage metric on the session. Yeah, okay, so down 2.5% here on the day. That's a 1 minute. That's a nice rebound off of the lows up into 722. And then I know we talk about how 97% of Meta's revenue comes from ad spend. So just keep that in mind. If that starts to cool off, watch out. But I think this name is definitely on the right path, and especially the war path, to try to win and grab as much market share as possible in this artificial intelligence race. All right, guys. So that is Meta down 2.5%. Drag the market down for your boy. And then let's take a look at Microsoft, the #2 company in the world here. MSFT down 1% on the day. And see, that's the thing here, guys, right? Like, if you're asking me, and if I'm being totally frank with you, as I usually am, I don't know why I say that all the time, but like this move that we've seen on Microsoft from the previous earnings report is not sustainable. I just don't think that this price action is sustainable, in my opinion. You can go across the board and ask people who are significantly more experienced than I am, and I wouldn't be surprised if they agreed with me on what I'm saying here. That is a too steep of an angle. You go from, okay, let's say this is the earnings report day to where we're currently sitting at. I mean, from a percentage point, from a percentage metric, it's nothing super crazy. It's 27%, but just with no healthy pullback in this price action, just be careful, because if we do crack this trend line, I know Obi would be looking at this trend line, and then now you're on the back side of it, you can potentially find a short on there, and until you reclaim it, then that can most definitely drag the market down with it, guys. And we can take a look at the Qs, because I am short it, and I do believe that we are near-term overbought, considering from these Liberation Day lows, we're up 30% as well too 34% more or less. So this is a big time move without seeing that 2.5% correction in the overall market. It's something that you want to keep relatively healthy. And then that's what I was talking about earlier as well. So if the likes of Apple, so now that they have a positive catalyst, if that just continues to start to accumulate and they get more of these headlines coming out that favor them, then yeah, they can start to play catch up in the likes of Amazon, Apple, and Google. But you need to be patient and wait for those things first. We talk about how the tariffs are really impacting Apple right now. Until some things start to clear up on that, it's great that they're starting to look into partnering up with OpenAI and Anthropic. But the tariffs, the 25% on the iPhone is not too good of a look right now. Things can most definitely change. But I think Apple's headed in a step in the right direction. We get some more. If they decide to strike a deal with Anthropic or OpenAI, then watch out for the stock to climb significantly higher. But right now, we got a couple other headwinds that we need to worry about. See if we can hold this trend line. If it does so, then maybe you can get a bounce into the middle of this gap down range and then look to start to take some profits around this 215, around this this previous resistance, and then head into there. Right? Once you get those tailwinds, then that's when you can really scale that position there, Sharif.
All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that, and then that's what I got going on here. I'm going to pull up the TQs here momentarily, and then I'll send it back to you. Sorry. So yeah, let's see if this can work. We're short. We break the lower end of this range, 81.10. I think that's going to be an important level right there. We get through that, then I think 81 can be in the works.
All right, guys, out of DBI break even on the last remaining amount. We took a couple of beak wetters there at 76 and 78, rejects off 80, puts in a lower high. That's my invitation to get out. That's not why I'm in this. I don't need lower highs. Now, what will be decisive for those who like to short these small cap gappers, myself not included, is a break of this key level here, because then you'll have a lower high and a lower low. So look for the break of 68 or 69. You could see this possibly retrace, maybe down into that $0.50 area. We did have some support at the $0.50 area over here. We'll have to wait and see. Or it could find support at 60, 63, 64, where we also had some support initially. So DBI on the way down. I'm not seeing anything that I really like right now in small cap gapper world. I just finished going through the scanner. Nothing really doing here. It's really WOLF that's still really running, and there isn't much else other than that one. So not going to be in any trades that I don't like at the moment, but we'll look at WOLF. This is a look at Big Bear AI, which was not a bad short off the volume weighted average price. Did not see this one. Well, obviously it didn't make its way onto my scanner because it's a little bit down on the day here. Yeah, 680 or 679, I guess, was a closing print, kind of rejecting that volume weighted average price. But Big Bear AI has been a monster lately, so a day or two pullback is nothing on that one. Let's pull up WOLF, have a look at this. Yeah, this is above VWAP, but look, I mean, it's not really, it hasn't even attempted the dollar break since the rejection of the dollar over here really early on, right at 10 a.m. So maybe this one runs later in power hour when the volume starts coming back in. But currently, Wolf right now, under 95 pennies, where it seems to have some resistance, is not of interest to me, despite the fact that it's up 130% on the day. So we'll keep tabs on that. BMNR, another one that we've been talking a lot about. We had a trade on this one earlier. Also, kind of putting in that lower high. This could be a candidate for a flat bottom break where you get umpteen amount of lower highs over here only to have support at $60. We mentioned that $60 level multiple times, and every single time it's had a retracement into 60, it's found support. That's the good side of the news. The bad side is it's this. These lower highs here are what's operative, in my opinion, which could make this one a candidate for a flat bottom break through that $60 area. And by extension of that, you'll likely get a move below the volume weighted average price right now, which is at 57.50. So tell me what you guys are looking at in small cap gapper world, because I'm not seeing a whole lot, sadly, moving at the moment. Just having a quick look here at the scanner up top. And the issue with a lot of these ones too is, even though they're up nicely on the day, maybe 15, 20%, which I don't mind, the volume on a lot of them is kind of crappy, which probably makes sense because, you know, maybe a lot of people have a bit of an early week with this being a shortened week, Joseph. So keeping an eye on BMNR. Last but not least, this one, CTOR has been giving you possible dips off VWAP, but again, very lightly traded. The volume is just not supporting it, and it feels like this one is also putting in lower highs. So CTOR in the crap list like the others as well. So yeah, sadly, Joseph, nothing running here in the later part of the day in small cap gappers. Let's have a look at let's bring in the watch list. Let's see what's moving in on the proprietary side watch list over here. So we'll have a look at the different sectors, and then we'll see, you know, if there are any outlying movers on the day. Nothing really here in EV land. Rivian, Lucid continue to drop, not their day today. ADRs are a mixed bag, but mostly green with XBEV looking to take the cake here. Joseph, fantastic look lately for XBEV, up 3 1/3. NEO's up 3, Li Auto's down 1. So the market not liking that miss by Li Auto. MicroStrategy is the outlier here, Joseph, down 5 2/3 in the crypto area of things. In the military defense, you have, KTOS. What is this company that I threw on here? KTOS. Kratos Defense and Security. That's down 6%. Likewise with Palantir. That one's down 5. Raytheon down 1. Otherwise, they're mostly green. Let's move down the list here. These are the memes. Nothing doing out there. Cybersecurity names. They're all red today with that. Where's Pandub, that piece of crap? It's down below 200 again. Unbelievable.
What's our guy CrowdStrike doing?
CrowdStrike down as well, Joseph, below 500.
See the daily on that thing?
It's a fantastic looking daily.
Yeah.
Zscaler is better though. I don't
Is
know
it?
if you've, hands down. So this is a good look here on Crowd.
Okay, let's compare.
Percentage-wise?
metric from
Let's go
Liberation Day.
So Liberation was this one, right? We'll go with the closing print, Joseph.
Yeah.
We'll go like that, and we'll go into the current price right now. We're up 63%.
Okay, 63%
All right.
on Crowd.
Let's weasel over to Zscaler. And then we'll go Liberation. Yeah, I tried to tell you, brother. So the closing print, Joseph, 90%.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, not a bad look. So Zscaler's been good lately.
I don't know anybody who just got that.
No one. I don't know anyone. No one at all. You didn't want the notoriety. She's good. I know you are. All right. What else we got over here? We got C Limited down in FinTech world. Joseph down to the tune of 5 1/3. That's a bit of an outlier there. Upstart and PayPal, decent days. Nothing doing. Meli, Mercado Libre down 4%. That's that big kind of FinTech company out of Latin America. Good. It's very expensive, $2,500 stock. Adara, maybe you want to take a look at MELI. You probably.
That's too spready. That's too spready.
Yo, but let her make that decision, bro.
All right. I'm sorry.
We're playing.
Oh, whoa.
So I did pull up the
Look at that,
spread because I was
airflip too.
curious. So right now, $11 spread, only about less than 400,000 shares traded on the day. I need a little bit more. Honestly, the $11 is not what freaks me out here, guys. What freaks me out here is the lack of volume. That type of very wide spread with no volume, if you get stopped out, you're getting sailed away. That does not look good here. I do not feel very free to trade Mercado Libre with that spread and lack of volume, though I will say I can still read the spread. I just don't like how little volume it is.
That's fair.
You take 10 shares on that, you're down $100 right off the get.
Exactly. You said exactly.
Right off the get.
That's the way it is, Joseph. You live dangerously both ways. Let's talk a little biotech here, Joseph. Moderna getting another little tailwind there, 5% today. I don't know what it was yesterday, but they had that COVID flu vaccine nonsense yesterday, and today they're up another 5%. Very few names in biotech pharmaceutical world are actually red. Only Eli Lilly, which is essentially flat, 0.08. Everything on my watch list here, Greensville in biotech world, essentially with Moderna, Amgen kind of being the leaders there, at least on my watch list. What else we got? We got Snapchat. What the hell? 8 3/4%. Nice breakout there for Snap on the daily.
Well, they had a catalyst the other
They did. Adara put them on the watch list today. They're on the watch list. Go ahead, Adara.
I was going to mention they had a nice little positive analyst note. Basically, I believe it was Wells Fargo. You can read about this on our watch list, Trader TV Live. But basically, Wells Fargo actually says that they are raising their expectations for Snapchat for Q2, the coming quarter, but also for their forward quarters and even further guidance. So we have long-term bullishness on SNAP coming through from Wells Fargo. That was the only catalyst I saw on this, but clearly all the stock needed. Back to you.
For that. Keep going here down on the list. Roblox down about 4%. Not a bad day for Roblox. I mean, it's a volatile name. QuantumScape, we got that headline last week from QS, and that was that big move there you're seeing on QuantumScape, taking out $8, coming back down though into 6.5 to the tune of 4 3/4 today on the day. Joseph giving back a little bit of that move. As we talked about earlier though, solar getting a nice day. The 10 ETF up 3 2/3. You got Sedge up almost 8% here. Enphase almost 4. FSLR, for whatever reason, bucking the solar trend down 1 1/5. CSIQ Canadian Solar up 1.8. Sunrun up 9 1/4, almost 9 1/3. So solar is strong on the day in case you're looking for a stronger, what's it called? The sector there. Joby's down 6.5%. So I want to know what the short float is on Joby because it feels like this one is a bit short heavy here. 15%, a little bit less, 14.5%. That makes sense to me. It takes out $10, double tops at 11, and then the shorts are panicking, so they add a little bit more down to 6 2/3. But I like the trend on this, as you can see. The higher lows are what's operative to me. So whether or not it's down 6 1/3, I like this stock. I like the industry. I think it may be capital intensive initially and may not be immediately profitable, but it is the future. I don't see us driving on roads, forever and ever more. Anyway, last but not least here, Joseph, going down the list, you got Macy's up 5, whatever, for 5 1/4. Lululemon up 2 2/3. Dick's Sporting Goods up almost 5%. So retail having a decent day. You should tell Shopify that. I don't know if Shopify is retail though. 1.5% in negatory. Ville here is Shopify. Shout out to Canada. So yeah, so that's
shout out to Coinbase as well too. You're going to be able to use stable coins on Shopify.
Absolutely.
As a payment processor.
Totally forgot about that. Well said. Yeah, so that's the look right now. But a couple of 12 minutes left or so on the show. Before we send you back to the Katina man and the Obi is the one.
Obi got barbecue for lunch, he said.
You got barbecue, eh?
Yeah.
Beef brisket with sandwich? Beef brisket sandwich, my man.
Is that your favorite cut there, Obi?
Yeah. Ram, do you have any more sushi over there? You have 3 pieces? That's it? All right, fine. I'm going to leave them for you. I was going to ask for one, but I just want one. I got the wasabi over. Oh, you got the wasabi? Yeah, you didn't pass any wasabi, woman. I didn't get any wasabi on my first bite there. Yeah. I'm gonna come visit you later.
Come visit it. Yeah. Get that sorted out over there.
What happened to our wings, by the way? We didn't get anything.
Well, no one was down. We went on the sushi train instead.
Well, yeah, we ate one sushi each. Yeah. Fantastic look there.
Yeah, but I think what? I'll be honest though. I think you swayed on me a little bit too because I was on the fence. I mean, there was no fence play from me. I was strictly wings. But then you heard the likes of sushi come into play, and you're like, I
gotta tell you, I think I was wrong on that one.
I think I was wrong on that one. Come on.
Yeah, sushi it's too it's too much.
We went to wings, and we could have had 6 flavors, right? I mean, I know you would have went the...
I would have went the lemon pepper route, but that would have been it for me. Jamlocky, look at ATAI. All right, Jamlocky, let's have a look at that because I've got nothing right now. I got to tell you the truth. Nothing that I'm liking. So ATAI, let's have a look at that. Okay. Look, it's not exactly a breakout or anything like that, but it's up 24 1/5%. It's a small cap gapper under $1 billion market cap, about 500 million or so. They are a biopharmaceutical company. You got to love that because good volatility. What I like on this chart, and there's, I'm mixed about this, is you got the higher lows, and they seem to be basically respecting generally this trend line. But you're not really getting the breakout. And if I had to tell you the truth, I would not trade this because it's below the pre-market high. So you double top there at 610 and 615, likely when the news hit, whatever the catalyst was on this. Comes up to about 307, 305, something like that. Rejects, drops all the way back down to about 2 1/4. And the high of the day is 290. So it's below the pre-market high. It's obviously had trouble with 3 in general. So unless we get above 3, to me, it's a bit of a riskier trade, but not a bad look at all. And if you're looking at buying it off the lows, that could be profitable as well for you. So shout out to Jamlocky there. What else are you guys looking at in the chat? Let me know. David saying Tesla keeps going down. My 300 put option yesterday up by 27%. Shout out to David. I'm not even going to try to say your last name, brother. I don't want to butcher it, but let's have a look at TSLA. What are we at? Oh. Yeah, you know, we're not tanking, but we're certainly off the lows, generally holding that 300 area. It's found support a couple of times, David, at VWAP, most recently here, 12 and 1205. Now, we're kind of straddling VWAP on the 145 and the 150 candle that we just opened up on. It's been lower highs, though, brother, but higher lows as well. So, you know, not for me today. And besides, I don't trade these large caps. So, interesting look on Tesla. Do you have any look?
Tesla, yeah, I've seen Tesla. We were talking about it not too long ago. Tesla, I mean, I thought that we were going to have that move where we cracked that 360 level, Sharif. It doesn't even seem to be the case.
I think he did.
Right, so 360, 370, we'll call it. I thought this was going to be the move after this is the rift right here between Donald and Elon. And I thought after this move that we were going to go there, but it said, we're going to reignite that rift. And we got deliveries coming in too, so that's going to be really important. I wouldn't be surprised if they missed, to be honest with you, Sharif, but who knows? It depends how much they miss by. And how much is it going to send the stock. But I mentioned, look for any form of indecision south of this shelf, all right? So that's that. I got to hop out of this TQs trade here as it's now coming to my stop, and the market is squeezing. So yeah, that trade didn't work out, but that's okay. Our Google trade, which we'll do a quick review before the end of the day. This was only my third ticker that I traded on the day: Bitcoin, Google, and now the TQs, which we are currently hopping out of because I want no part of this, especially if NVDA, which is sitting on the backside of the trend, decides that it wants to squeeze. But this is what I mean: substantially larger than any loss that we took here throughout the session. And there you go, you get another pop in the TQs and the Mag 7 leading the way. And I'll say it all the time, and I'll say it every day. If you're thinking that you're going to short the overall market and not look at what the Mag 7 are doing, good luck. All right, so I'm just going to be frank and stern about it because I don't think it's a good idea whatsoever to think that you're going to go counter market when the likes of NVDA and the larger mega cap names are starting to climb. So
I'm not going to tell you what this stock is, and please don't look at the top, right?
I'm not
but
looking.
look at the chart, Assassino, if we can.
Yeah, okay, I'll look at the chart.
Look at the chart. Just don't look at the ticker, bro.
Yeah, can I look at the numbers on the side?
Absolutely.
Okay.
You want me to zoom in a little bit so you can see it a little bit like that?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 318 high.
318.
What is this stock?
Wow, that's a tough one, man.
I don't think
can I get a sector?
But it's going to give it away because there's not too many players in this sector.
Okay.
That's why, right?
Okay, yeah, I have no
It's
idea.
travel.
It's travel?
I'll put that. That's the best I can give you.
Oh, is it booking?
Can I
Hold
guess?
on, Adara, you're cheating.
I'm not cheating. I just think I have a guess.
Go.
Is it RCL?
It is, of course, RCL. Yes. You know who told me about this?
Who?
Your friend Jose. He's been trading this.
Look at CCL too.
See, but this is all-time highs.
Yeah.
This is all-time.
Oh, our
Joseph,
guy Michael Noss was talking
can I
about
tell
it as
you
well, too.
from the Liberation Day lows
Yeah.
to today's close, this is by the way, Joe, an $85 billion company. This is not a small capper.
We're
up 91%, 95%.
Man, it's like those are Robin Hood numbers.
90, yeah, exactly. 95% on your friend
Hey,
RCL.
let's take a look at CCL as well.
Can I show you NCLH?
Yeah, it's probably hot garbage.
Hot garbage compared to it. Like you're at all-time highs, and this one is just barely back to the midpoint of the range here. Can't even break out through that $22, $21 area.
one
But
wants those
let's look at your CCL friend there. I remember when this thing was like $9, bro.
No one wants those Norwegian cruise lines.
I don't know. I've never been on a cruise, so I have no
me
idea. This is CCL. It's not a bad look, but it's no RCL.
Yeah, what do we got from Liberation Day lows?
From the Liberation Day lows, we're at 15. Now we're up to 28. So yeah, same look, Joseph, about 95% off the lows. These cruise lines really did recover in a way that I didn't expect. Fantastic look on CCL and RCL, not so much, and CLH, but that's okay. Let's look at the weekly on this one so we can see if we're at all-time highs. We're not even close. We're not even close on CCL.
Close.
This thing, these are July. Oh, that's 17. So we got to get all the way back to $70. So CCL is not even close. And there's technical resistance here at 40 and 45. And before that, Joseph, we're looking at 30 as well, where we topped out during the pandemic and the highs of 2021. So I don't know what the hell RCL is doing, but they're doing something right.
Something right.
And that's the weekly there on RCL. So these are all-time highs.
Did anybody see that documentary on the Carnival Cruise Line, the Triumph? It got stuck in the middle of the sea for like an extended period of time.
I saw some people fell out. A girl fell off a cruise ship yesterday. and then her dad jumped in after her,
Obviously, all day.
And you got to see how far back the safety boat had to go because the actual cruise ship had left them.
Yeah.
They were just there in the middle of the ocean.
The cruise ship
No, I know. I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying it was. It must be like. That's terrifying for me, anyway.
Yeah, the poop cruise is right there.
I just see a lot of videos online of people fighting on cruises.
Yeah?
Yeah.
There's nowhere to go, really, eh?
You're locked in on a boat. So your op is going to be in your face
like
all
right
week.
there,
Why do you have an op, though?
But I mean, I've never
It's supposed to be
personally.
a jovial
Apparently,
time.
like these things are like skyscrapers on water. They hold a lot of people. Like there's 6,000 people going on cruises.
Well said.
So yeah, that's very interesting stuff. I personally, I'm not the biggest fan of open water, and so I don't know if I'll be going on.
No,
No.
I could go, but I've just never gone. My
Like, I'm
parents
cool
go
with
all the
boats
time,
and stuff like that, obviously. But like if I'm swimming in open water, not a good thing.
Not in the middle of the ocean,
no,
bro.
dude,
No,
no,
like if
no
like that
way.
was a harrowing
even on
experience.
lakes. Even on lakes.
No, I don't mind the lakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't see what's under me, right?
I get that, and it's a little bit nerving, but you got to know what the facts are. And
There's lamprey in there.
what does that mean?
You never seen a lamprey before?
I don't even know
Oh,
what that
dude,
is.
they're like leeches with fangs.
Oh, yes,
yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
You don't want it. You don't want it.
I don't want that smoke.
You don't want that smoke.
No, thank you. Nathan, hi, Sharif and Joe. Do you think that the deliveries is already priced in? You're talking about Tesla deliveries, I'm assuming. So in the article that I actually read today, they were comparing BYD's deliveries to Tesla, and they didn't know what Teslas were, obviously. So here we go. They're estimated. Adira, if you can fact check this for me, because I don't want to say anything incorrectly. The Tesla estimated delivery is supposed to be 385,000. So I don't know if that's accurate. Go ahead.
I was seeing 392 is the estimate, but I'm actually seeing a lot of individual analysts guess a little bit lower. So it's probably somewhere around, I would say, what you're saying and what I'm saying. I think we're both right. It's just because hard estimates are always kind of hand-wavy.
Makes sense. So if your question is, are they priced in? Well, I'm assuming that they are. And if we get anything above or below that, the stock will react in whatever direction we end up beating or missing. So yeah, to answer your question, yes. But there's always the outlying event where it comes in substantially better or substantially worse, and you have a move in one direction or the other. So yeah, I think that the second the information gets released, the market discounts it into the price right away. The market's super efficient. We've seen this over and over and over. And yeah, so to answer your question, yes. What do you think about that?
Sorry, Sharif, I was typing something.
No, it's okay. Well, we got to go
I had
there
Fabian
anyway.
in my ear.
No worries.
Or thing in my ear.
Assassino.
Assassino. I got to do something here momentarily.
Are we going to Adira?
No, we got.
Okay, we'll take time.
Yeah,
All right.
we got something we got to cover here, Sharif.
Yes, sir.
Looking to trade futures like the Nasdaq, SPY, or even here we go, Bitcoin. Top One Futures is one of the fastest growing prop firms out there. They give traders the chance to manage up to $1 million in capital. Pick your path, instant funded, challenge, or pro account and start funding your way to real payouts and even a live account. In the last 90 days alone, they've paid out over $10 million and earned 1,000 plus 5-star reviews from real traders. Use the discount code TTV to save on any account. Scan the QR code or head to top1futures.com and start trading towards your next big payout there, guys.
All right, guys, it is now 2 o'clock. We're going to send you to Adira, I think, because, Adira, you have a headline? I do. Okay, she does. And then the big kahunas, Obi and Sean, will be on. I'll see everybody shortly at the green screen.
Bang.
I just want to let you guys know we have a bit of an interesting headline on META. Wired here just reporting that apparently in an internal memo, CEO Sam Altman of OpenAI is actually slamming Meta's strategy and also dismissing its recruiting efforts, basically saying that Meta is acting in a way that Sam Altman finds, quote, somewhat distasteful. He just assumes things will get, quote, crazier.